Out from SiriusXM MRN will be Mike Bagley. He'll take the action in turn 2 and down the backstretch until they get to 3, and then Parker Kligerman will pick up the action in 3 and hand it off to the mayor, Jeff Burton, in turn 4. If they get out of turn 4, hopefully all intact and going the right way, they'll come back to us. Steve Letarte and myself will be here in the Pagoda calling the action. Let's check in turn 2 with Mike Bagley.
And Rick, we are ready to go here. Cars have rolled off the pit lane on to what is turns 1 and 2. 9 degrees of banking will await these drivers when they come into this end of the racetrack, and it's a flat corner. But it carries a lot of speed, and with lack of rubber, it's also going to have a lot of grip. Those drivers will dial up the low lane, they'll swing down to the inside of turn number 2 and try to get a good run onto the back straightaway. Once they clear turn 2, which is what you're looking at right now, they'll swing it wide onto the straightaway, and then it's a 5/8 mile run down the backstretch where they will race into the view of Parker Kligerman.
Right, Bagman, and this will be the first time they approach any corner of this racetrack at full speed. You'll see them go 2, 3, maybe 4 wide for some of the brave drivers, and then they have a choice as they go into turn 3 on that first lap. Do you lift or do you stay flat out? Some of them that have been here before last year with this package know you can stay flat. They'll go to that bottom lane and they'll carry that speed all the way through the corner, but the others might have to lift, feel out their car a little bit. That's where it's going to get very dicey on this first lap. I have to say, I also have been inducted into turn 3 fans over here. I have a couple fans that are here for their 25th year in a row, Bert.
Well, we have an awesome shot today, that's for sure. We keep talking about this Aero Package. What I find fascinating about it, and we're really going to see develop, last year's race, Paul Menard made a huge run at William Byron because his car handled better late in the race. These teams, these drivers are going to have to make compromises. Some made compromises to go fast, and some made them to handle well. Which is going to prevail in this race?
You mentioned Aero Package earlier and how that really has made the racing better here for the Xfinity Series. Let's talk a little bit more about what's happening with that.
Yeah, you're going to continue to hear us mention it because it does change the racing so dramatically. So what does that mean? It means basically this: 3 changes, and it starts at the front of the race car. That front splitter is much larger. It extends out in front of the nose. That you can see, but probably what you'll be able to see the best are these big front aero ducts. They allow air in the nose. It dumps it out the side of the race car in front of the front tire, creating a tremendous amount of drag, slowing these cars down, disrupting the air. That actually gives the trailing car a little bit of an advantage. That's the whole idea. Give the guy in second, third, and fourth the ability to close up on the leader. And the third piece to the puzzle when it comes to aerodynamics is the rear spoiler. It's normally very small, low downforce, hard to hold onto these race cars. With this situation, it's a much larger rear spoiler that adds grip, allows them to ride wide open. That is why we see this great action at this flat 2.5 mile rectangle.
And NASCAR Heat 3 is available now on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Visit NASCARHeat.com.
And there's a great live shot you see right there on the nose of the 22. That center area is where the air goes, like every week, into the radiator, cools the engine. But outside that, they look like brake ducts. That's what you see at a short track. They're not going to the brakes. They're just disrupting the air. NASCAR, some pretty innovative stuff to think, hey, we're going to put a duct here just to change the shape of the air. It's worked really well here in the past.
Well, the one great thing about the weather forecast is that it's just cloudy. There's no call for any precipitation. The temperature, though, definitely will become a factor. 58 degrees. We saw Mike Bagley, Parker Kligerman, Jeff Burton, all in their winter coats out there around this racetrack. It's cool, which means normally higher speeds.
And Rick, this is a race that was always run in the summer. This is the first season it has moved. And I can tell you from testing here, if you go out in the garage at 9 in the morning, cool weather, you can run over a second faster than you will in the same car, the same tires, on the same track 3 hours later in the day. That makes a huge difference to what the drivers have to expect, what the crew chiefs have to expect for, and even more importantly, what Goodyear has to prepare for. We're going to see a competition yellow 10 laps in. You mentioned no time on the racetrack, a track notoriously known for wearing tires. There's going to have to be, I think it's a little bit of nerves to start this race.
Well, think about if you pull into the tunnel and you come into this historic racetrack and it's going to be your first start. These drivers are right now making their very first laps at Indianapolis, warming up.
Yeah, Christopher Bell, he made some laps at Indianapolis, but they were on the dirt track in turn 3 at the sprint car race on Wednesday and Thursday night. That's really the only racing we've seen, and I can assure you why that is racing in Indianapolis. That is nothing like what he's getting ready to do right here.
Let's get some updates from pit road. We'll start with Dylan Welch.
Well, Rick, one of the things that Chase Elliott likes most about racing in the Xfinity Series is the group he's with. This GMS racing bunch, really relaxed, really laid back, and that permeates through Chase when he gets behind the wheel of this 23 car. One other thing that he likes about racing with these guys, they're usually pretty fast, too. Chase Elliott looking for his first Indianapolis score, rolling off from 10th this morning. Kelly?
Well, Brian Priest does have one Indianapolis start under his belt, but he has never raced with this Aero Package. And even with no practice this weekend, he told me he's ready to go. In fact, he said he prefers it that way. He loves the idea of just showing up and racing what you got. He told me the best guys will still rise to the top. Count him among that group. Brian Priest looking for his second win of the season. Marty, he'll start this one third.
Kelly, there are 4 drivers who will try double duty today. That's 650 miles here at the Brickyard. Obviously 250 now and 400 later for the Brickyard 400. Among them, Ryan Blaney, who will start from the pole this afternoon. He told me, you know what, I'm not worried about it. He said if it was 90 degrees outside, I would be a little more worried about 650 miles. So I'm going to be fine. In between, they'll have about an hour and a half break. He told me I'm just going to have lunch and come back out and run 400 miles in my Cup Series car. But Steve, you mentioned it, the one concern for everybody on pit road, tires. That competition caution at lap 10. We'll see how those tires look when they come off, but these tires may not last 10 laps for that first run.
Yeah, the guys behind the wheel, the guys on top of the pit box, they're going to have to be in good communication and manage this tire situation. So we talked about Christopher Bell and the dirt track. Well, Indianapolis continues to expand. Remember, it used to be just the Indy 500. Then the NASCAR came here 25 years ago. Well, this year, look at this right here. USAC comes in and says, you know what? Everybody seems to love midget racing, dirt track racing, so we're going to have a race inside Indianapolis. Look at the crowd, Rick. The place was electric. It was unreal. Christopher Bell ran 5th in the A-Main. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 11th. And listen, you heard him, our pit reporter, Dylan Welch. He made the A-Main as well. 118 cars. He made the A-Main, ended up at 25th. It was a great, great race. Dylan, you were the guy in the race. Tell us what it was like to run here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
It was awesome, Steve, and I'm fortunate. I raced quarter midgets here. They built the track in the parking lot for many years during the summer, and I got to race here when I was younger. But to get to do it at a national level in a USAC midget race like we did earlier this week, it was awesome. And everybody that went to work to try and get it in Thursday. We had so much rain here on Thursday, and it didn't look very promising. But everybody at the racetrack, Doug Bowles here at the Speedway, and everybody at the United States Auto Club worked super hard to get it in. And for me, it was a great thrill. You know, I only race 3 or 4 times a year, so for me to go and be able to compete in the feature event was really, really cool, and a really, really awesome opportunity that hopefully is around for years to come.
Yeah, Dylan, I was fortunate enough to bring my son Harrison to run quarter midgets in the infield here at at Indianapolis Motor Speedway as well. And you bring those young kids to this racetrack and their eyes light up, and then go over there Thursday night and watch some of the best midget racers in the world go at it inside the infield here at Indianapolis. It was really cool. It had a feeling about it that it was a very special moment, and I want to congratulate and applaud this racetrack for bringing grassroots racing to perhaps the most historic racetrack in America.
And we do want to congratulate Brady Bacon. He won the first ever BC 39 for Brian Clausen. Lost his life in a racing accident, but the BC 39 we hope is a tradition that happens here for years to come. We will be riding along with a few different drivers, and one of those being a driver who's never started an Xfinity Series race here at Indianapolis. Christopher Bell has the Toyota on board. He'll start 7th, and this camera is able to spin all the way around 360 degrees.
It's going to get some good shots because there are going to be cars 360 degrees around him. We expect with this tight racing, we're going to see another on board we have today. The 00 of Cole Custer has the Ford Performance on board, and he has the shot we all love so much. You see it right there on the top of his helmet. We're going to have this view. His visor's currently up. It's a little bit high. When he closes that visor and gets to racing, it's going to give us some just captivating shots of what goes on out there.
Elliott Sadler also will have a side panner camera thanks to Hunt Brothers Pizza, and Elliott Sadler is going to start 4th, so a little bit closer to the front in row 2, but it'll be able to look out to the side, and I'm sure he will have quite a few cars working their way to the outside of him or as he's going by them.
And then we have the 7 of Justin Allgaier carrying the Sunoco onboard camera, and guess what, Rick? New record for the NBC broadcast.
That's
2
right.
helmet cams today. We have another helmet cam on Justin Allgaier. I want to take a second to not only thank Sunoco and all the guys that buy these in-car cameras, but the drivers. They have, you know, this helmet cam is optional. They don't have to do it, but they choose to do it. The crew chiefs, the teams work with us, and it gives the fans, puts them right in the driver's seat.
Well, let's listen in to what the 7 team's little pep talk has been prior to the green flag coming out.
Let's go have some fun today. I don't know what we got, but I'm excited to find out. So I'll give you everything I got in here, and we'll go have some fun.
And Justin Allgaier, again, as I mentioned, starting up front in that first row, and Allgaier having a career year. It would definitely be capped if he's able to get to victory lane here at Indianapolis. Let's see if we can talk to him on the radio before the green flag comes out.
All right, let's give him a shout here, Rick. Hey, Justin, Steve Letard up in the NBCSN booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, Stevie, got you loud and clear, buddy.
Well, bud, I guess the big question is, no time on the racetrack. What's the expectations here when you go green?
Man, I don't know. I think your guess is as good as mine, but you know, this racetrack obviously is so unique compared to all the other ovals that we go to. So we're kind of already at a little bit of a guessing game when we get here, and we just got a little bit of time to work on it. So really proud of all these guys at Junior Motorsports. Our Duffman plus Carrot Camaro was fast here last year. We had some issues on pit road that kept us from going for a win. So we can just kind of go out there, execute today, and keep doing our job, and we'll be in good shape.
Well, we're taking a few extra pace laps. What's the surface? What's the racetrack look like to you out there?
Yeah, I feel like the surface looks pretty good. You know, the access roads are still a little bit damp, which I kind of expected. But you know, they've done a really good job on the track of getting it dry and making sure that we're ready to go here. So hats off to the Speedway here. You know, they've worked really hard this weekend. It's a shame that we haven't had any break in the rain to be able to get this race in. But again, really proud of what they've done. Happy for the fans that they've stuck around, the ones that could, and those that are at home watching on TV. Hopefully you guys have a great time, and hopefully we can take this rocket ship to the front.
Well, on behalf of the fans, I want to say thanks. Not only wearing that awesome helmet cam, but taking a little time right here and talking to us before the race. Good luck today, bud.
Yeah, man, thank you guys. Appreciate all you guys do up there. We'll put on a good show for you, hopefully.
Oh, I doubt it. It's going to be a good show.
I don't doubt it at all. And he does put the visor down, and a great perspective that we're going to get from Justin Allgaier as well as Cole Custer, both having helmet cams. Marty.
Well, let's chat with Justin Allgaier's crew chief, Jason Burdett, and the man who calls the shots today. Have you ever come to a race with more question marks than today, Jason?
You know, we did this a couple years ago in Dover. It rained everything out, and we had to start that race. No practice, pretty much cold turkey, you know. But you know, we've been to Dover a lot of times, which we've been here a lot of times too. Just with this package it's a little nerve-wracking, you know, whether we got the splitter off the ground or if we got it too low or high, and skirts and tires rubbing fenders. There's just a lot of question marks right now going into all this that we all have, I think, up and down pit road. But you got to applaud Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's an amazing place to come and race, and you know, they've done a lot of work to try to get all these races in, you know, from the dirt race on Wednesday and Thursday night to today. So, you know, we appreciate it. We love racing here, and there's no place we'd rather be than here right now. Try to kiss the bricks.
So where does the concern on tire wear kind of rank in all the things you just listed of things you're worried about here?
Well, you know, historically this place is pretty crazy. You know, it wears tires pretty quick, but it also rubbers in fairly good. So if we can get through that 10-lap competition caution, get some rubber down. With all 40 of us out there, I think we'll be fine, and it'll just keep getting better as the day goes on.
All right, congratulations, by the way, because his son won two races this weekend?
2 races this weekend, yeah. He won both Dixie Shootout quarter midget races and Cumming, Georgia. So yeah, he's had a great year. He's won a national championship with USAC, and you know, he's trying to win his regional championships with the Dixie Shootout. So it's been a lot of fun.
All right, Steve, I love it because he said congratulations to Mom, too, because she was crew chiefing. You kind of live that world, Steve. You know what he's talking about.
I do, and I was getting ready to tell Jason, hey, no pressure, but Rachel, she won a championship and both races this weekend. But listen, Jason mentioned Dover.
Yeah.
He should remember it because he won it with Regan Smith. The only other time we saw no practice, and he mentions the splitter and the heights and all that. Basically, it's the details of how you adjust these race cars. You got to have that front of that car right against the ground, but guess what? On the ground is no good, and it can be a matter of just thickness of a credit card.
We saw the flag man giving the thumbs up, thumbs down, because these drivers are truly the ones that have to give the thumbs up of, yes, I'm comfortable going full speed into turn 1, into turn 3 with the track conditions. And so they're asking the drivers, hey, give me a thumbs up if you guys are good. And so the flagmen are always looking for that.
Yeah, Rick, and the drivers take that responsibility obviously very seriously, and you can see they've rolled another jet dryer out, and you know what looks like isn't a problem to us watching on TV is a problem to these drivers. And this is a racetrack where they want to be able to put their left side tires all but against that grass in these corners, and anywhere it's dry down there, I mean anywhere it's wet is a major issue, because without gripping the left side tires, it's a major problem, Parker.
Right, Jeff, and you're mentioning that left side down there where they get below the white line. It's actually something, the water's just seeping out of this grass. Remember, we've had so much rain here. It's just sort of seeping out, but I can tell you, just from when they've had these cars rolling around on these pace laps, they've made a huge difference down here in turn 3 towards you into turn 4. They've taken it from being maybe a car width of water here to being just below that white line, so we're making a lot of headway.
And they're going to continue to work on just these little trouble areas around the racetrack. The cars are rolling. They're ready to go. We're ready to go. As soon as they get the all clear, we'll see green flag racing.
If you don't like this race, you just don't like NASCAR racing.
It's the first time there have been double-digit lead changes. Will he be able to hold him off?
He's with you. Come on.
William Byron wins at Indy.
I'm driving, baby. Briscoe. Woohoo!
It takes a lot to win these races, and to win here is so special.
William Byron, a matter of feet, got him the win a year ago here at Indianapolis. Always great racing, and even better now, this new Aero package that they put in for the Xfinity series. Pretty amazing. See, we have talked about the youth drivers and the guys who haven't had a lot of experience at this racetrack. Let's dial another one up. Chase Briscoe in the 60 in the same situation.
I think that's a great idea. Let's see if we can get him on the radio here. Hey, Chase, Steve Letarte up in the NBCSN booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
All right, we talked all morning about the unknown, the lack of practice. Well, you're one of the drivers that have never competed here in Indianapolis. What's going through your mind right here on these pace laps?
Yeah, obviously it's, you know, special getting to run in Indianapolis. Wish we could have got a little bit of practice, but I mean, we got 100 laps figured out. That's plenty of time to, you know, figure this deal out. But yeah, I feel like I was running the midget race again. We're trying to get the track ready, wheel packing, but yeah, it's going to be cool. Hopefully we can get a good run. Obviously with Neutral Shops being based out of Indiana as well as me, so. We got 100 laps figured out. Hopefully we can do it and get up front.
Well, with the unknowns of this Aero package and all the other things, how do you attack this race when it goes green? We know we have a comp yellow. The stages are relatively short. What's the strategy?
Yeah, I think you got to be a little patiently aggressive. You know, these first couple laps are going to be the easiest time to get position just because guys don't know what they got. And
They might be a little easy getting into some of the corners, but at the same time, you don't know if you're going to go in there and be loose or get on the splitter or whatever. So I think you got to try to figure it out as quick as you can and be aggressive with that. And realize it's still a long race, but it's going to be really hard to pass here. So trying to get them while we can.
All right, well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to the fans. I think they just gave you 2 to go, so we'll let you get your belts tightened up there, man, and have a great 100 laps.
Thanks, guys.
And let's go back down to Dylan Welch.
Well, and Steve, I'll bring you into this as well. Down here with the new set of tires, which has been one of the most talked about things so far before we even get started in this race. How much stock do you put into how these tires look when you pull them off early in the run, even when we get to this first competition caution? With as much as we know that they're going to wear, how much stock can you put into how they look just after the opening 10 laps of this race?
Well, you know, Dylan, you're going to have to look at them, but it is going to be with a little bit of hesitation to take too much out of that, because they're going to look bad. They're all going to look bad. The track is brand new. It has been blasted with these Air Titans, blasted with these jet dryers. This track has never been cleaner than it is right now, and it's going to really grind away on the tires. So really, I think it's that second set. We're going to see a caution at lap 10. I'm going to compare that to the set that comes off at lap 30 at the end of the stage. And if it's improving like we expect, no worry, no harm, no foul. Just go on, Rick. The problem is if the second set doesn't start looking better, then I start to get a little worried, because that second stage could run 30 straight green flag laps.
They're about to give them 1 to go and then the green flag. How about these pace laps? So does that wear away at these tires, even though we're not seeing a lot of them zigging and zagging around to warm them up on the racetrack?
Yeah, no, I think at these speeds, they're really not putting anything but some temperature in the tires. And I think on a cool day, normally Indianapolis, temperature in the tires isn't a big deal. But on a cool day like this, and potentially some damp spots on the racetrack, you're going to want all the grip you could have. So we heard Justin Allgaier, he sounded pretty calm sitting on the front row, but Chase Briscoe, who he talked to, while he seemed confident, he knows going down to turn 1, it's going to be chaotic. There's going to be cars in front of him. The air is really going to be moving around, and he's going to have to decide instantly how much grip he thinks that asphalt's going to have. That can be a tough decision, and guess what? It might not be his. Maybe someone in front of him makes a bad decision.
Well, when the green flag does come out, let's break down this race as far as the stage lengths.
So we talked about how this race is going to run. We talked about tires. It is a 2.5-mile flat oval, really like a rectangle. It's going to be 100 laps, 250 miles, both the first and the second stage, 30 laps in length. So relatively short. The final stage, 40 laps. Only 100 laps total. Fuel window, 42 to 44 laps. So they can run and in the entirety of each stage on a tank of fuel. We don't have to see green flag pit stops, and that was a great sign right there at 1 to go. Yes. Now you see the swerving that you mentioned. Now that these guys know, they reach up, and I mentioned it to Chase, belts tight. They ride around sometimes a little relaxed just to make sure they're comfortable. Reach up, pull those shoulder belts nice and tight. You have no idea. For a group of them, this will be their first ever trip into turn 1 in Indianapolis at speed.
A reminder, there will be a competition caution at lap 10. So this first stint, they will go as quick as they can, get as many positions as they can in the quick 10 laps. Marty.
And also a reminder, Rick, a little bit of a different package for the Xfinity Series here today. So there will be drafting involved, not quite like you would see at Daytona and Talladega, but there will be packs. So already talk between teammates right there, Justin Allgaier and Elliott Sadler. That's a key thing. Those junior motorsports cars going to try and do the best they can to hook up together and get away from everybody that they can. But Steve, you crew chiefs already down here talking about that, how you're going to work together throughout this race.
Well, you have to work together, but without the green flag pit stops we'd see at Daytona and Talladega, I think it's really up to the drivers. The crew chiefs can discuss. You know, Daytona and Talladega, Rick, you and I, we're buddies. We're going to pit together, give our drivers the best chance. Here, it's all going to be probably under yellow. So really, it's just encouraging your driver, hey, just remember we're teammates. At least until the last lap. Try to remember we're teammates. We'll see if they all believe into that.
If you're at work and you've got your TV on right now, I want to let you know, just a reminder, we're racing all day from Indianapolis, so we want you to have a lot of fun. NASCAR America pre-race at 12:30, and then the Cup Series, the Brickyard 400 at 2 o'clock, and of course, post-race coverage will follow that. So the field right now, paced by the pace car and a few jet dryers that are making the hard left turn. They will go into the infield, which means it will now go into the hands of the front row. Ryan Blaney, Justin Allgaier. Making up row 1, Ryan Blaney in that 22 on the inside, double duty today. Justin Allgaier, one of the hottest drivers in the Xfinity Series, will start on the outside of row 1. 2 by 2, a great view, and the fans that have stuck it out here at Indianapolis on their feet, ready to see this right here. Racing at the Brickyard. Green flag is out. Now the drag race into turn 1. Contact. Blaney moves up, gets into the side of Justin Allgaier as they dive into turn number 1.
Allgaier, he will swing down to the inside of the racetrack. He'll swing up, grab the lead. He'll bring his teammate Elliott Sadler with him as Ryan Blaney will get the shuffle back from the number 1 position all the way back to position number 4.
Bags Justin Allgaier showed up this morning. Look at that run on the outside lane. Ryan Blaney falling back. Seems most of the drivers are staying 2 by 2 here, taking it a little bit easy. This is the first time down into turn 3, side by side. Coming to you, Jeff.
Already you're seeing this package have an effect. Who would have thought the outside lane in Indianapolis would be preferred on the restart the outside, just destroy the inside lane.
Coming out of turn 4, out front, Allgaier working with teammate Elliott Sadler, 1 and 2 as they cross the yard of bricks. Right behind them, the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek. But the move to the inside.
Elliott Sadler pulls to the inside of the racetrack, side by side for the number 2 position just for a moment. It's Nemechek on the outside of the 42. Sadler trying to make things happen down low in the 1. Nemechek will get the advantage as Elliott Sadler will stay to driver's left on the back straightaway.
And Bagman, he's using the side draft. I've been told it doesn't work as well. He's got help there from Daniel Hemrick. That's what you need to make a pass here. Get the bump draft down into turn 3. He'll clear himself down there. That's John Hunter side by side, Cole Custer.
Cole Custer trying to take advantage. Those guys got side by side. Cole Custer trying to get underneath John Hunter Nemechek. Couldn't do it. That's what you're going to have to do in this package. You see people side by side. You have to take advantage of it.
People want to know what aerodynamics do to a race car. Well, here you go. A few laps into Indy, and the top 5 separated by less than 1 second as Elliott Sadler shows to the inside of Allgaier again. Won't make the move to 7. Continues to lead into turn 1.
It is a 3-car breakaway at the front of the field. Now it becomes a 5-car breakaway as they clear the south chute into turn 2. It's Allgaier in the lead. Elliott Sadler to 2nd. Hemrick 3rd. You got John Hunter Nemechek in 4th. And then they start to stack up behind them with Cole Custer under attack.
And Bagman, this is what probably the first lap as a driver you can really assess what you have inside that race car handling wise. Elliott Sadler peeks the inside of Justin Allgaier. He doesn't quite have the run. He's not able to get it done.
You remember the conversation when this race started about tires? You wouldn't think that a 10-lap competition caution would require people to save tires, but I have to wonder, Steve, if some people are indeed trying to take it easy to make sure they make this first competition caution.
Well, we mentioned 100 laps being a short race, but it's relatively going to be long. 3 stages, you have to be around at the end. So Justin Allgaier continues to lead. Elliott Sadler in 2nd. They seem pretty content to run that way.
Elliott Sadler practicing great restraint here in the opening laps at Indianapolis. He could have made the move off of 4. Instead chose to back away, stay with his teammate, and stay right on his back bumper as they try to shake the draft now on the backstretch.
And I think that's a smart thing to do here. Hemrick looks really aggressive, looks to the outside, to the inside. He tried to pull the fake. He goes back to the outside. Elliott Sadler's able to block him and hold on to 2nd position down into turn 3.
With Elliott taking that inside line, though, I thought it would hurt his momentum, but it really didn't. He was able to pull Daniel Hemrick off of turn 3. Comes into front straightaway.
Allgaier still remains the Pied Piper as everyone following in his tire tracks as they come down the front stretch. Sadler, Hemrick, Nemechek, Custer, and now Brandon Jones in the 19 looking to the inside. They're dicing as they come into turn 1. The 21 goes to the inside of Sadler, trying to take that spot away.
The 21 is Daniel Hemrick. He'll peel to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll open up the inside lane. Sadler does not want to get that spot up. Hemrick sparks flying from that car, still on the move and still trying to take 2nd.
And Hemrick's in a tough position here. If he can slot in right there, he's able to do it in front of Chase Elliott. You do not want to get freight trained. You want to continue to have help, but Chase is able to get to his outside. He's got help of Cole Custer. He's going to make the pass around Daniel Hemrick into turn 3.
There's so many battles right here. I don't know which one to watch. 3 wide, 2 wide. They're going to have to get it settled out. You still see John Hunter Nemechek trying to block, getting into the corner. He lost a lot of spots in 1 lap.
What we expected, side-by-side racing and fights for position all the way around Indianapolis. We'll be right back with more. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Shell Rotella, the engine oil that works as hard as you. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Still out front, Justin Allgaier in the 7 has Elliott Sadler chasing just behind him. Then it's Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece, and Daniel Hemrick, the top 5, as they work their way toward Parker.
As you see there, Elliott Sadler hot on the tail of Justin Allgaier. I believe these two are probably working together because Elliott has had chances to go around the lapper there to make moves on Justin Allgaier, but he's decided not to. I believe they're probably working together to try to get away from the pack.
Huge gain right there by Chase Elliott. These two leaders caught a lap car getting into turn 3. They had to go around him. Well, Chase Elliott caught him in the middle of 3 and 4. Did not have to lift for them, and he has run them down. And that one short shoot, he's to their rear bumper.
Now it's become a 3-car battle for the lead. Allgaier has it. Elliott Sadler running second, and now Chase Elliott has added his name to the mix.
3-man dance for the lead here at Indianapolis. Chase Elliott with that move has caught up to Elliott Sadler in that race for the number 2 position. Kelly?
Backman, we see a couple of cars choosing to come to pit lane. A little bit of a strategy move for both the 00 of Cole Custer and the 3 of Austin Dillon. Cole Custer saying they needed to work on their long run speed. He was a little tight. Same for Ty Dillon. Right sides only for the 3 car.
Well, I like the choice for the 3 to take right sides to guarantee he stays in the lead lap. The 00 of Cole Custer will take 4 tires as the leaders come off from turn 4. The 00 is just exiting pit road. The race right now will be to stay on the lead lap. He has to use the access road. Here come the leaders at the start finish. The 00, I believe, is going to lose a lap. I'm not sure this is the best call. You're going to see him probably on the left side of your screen right there on the access road. Man, good call by the 3. 2 tires. Oh, it's going to be question of whether the leader had passed him. So the caution comes out after 10 cars go by the start finish line at the end of the stage. It's going to be interesting to see where the 00 is scored. Or excuse me, the not the end of the stage, the competition yellow.
Caution.
We're not at lap 30 yet, right? Because you've had enough action. I thought we were at lap 30.
Well, and that was the other thing. They could only change tires. You're not allowed to add fuel prior to the competition caution.
But they don't need to because they know the stage will end at lap 30. They can run that far in fuel. We talk about crew chiefs being aggressive, working on strategy, trying to find a way. Jeff Mendering in this 00 called his driver to pit road, tried to have an advantage. So didn't Nick Harrison, the crew chief for Ty Dillon in the 3.
Steve, one of the things that you mentioned that he was making a good call with just taking 2 tires. But I think the big question mark right now is what is the tire wear because of a completely green racetrack?
You would assume the wear would only be the issue on the right side. That takes a much higher load through the corner. The left sides probably look fine. That's what Nick Harrison is going to gamble on. This is the same tire combination they ran last year. He probably has good notes. So now it's really on who's on the lead lap. The reason we talk about this is because when everybody pits, the 3 is going to be the leader. And if Cole Custer is also on the lead lap, which I think we're hearing he is, then he'll start on the outside of the front row.
And if you're watching at work, make sure to catch all of the action of NASCAR on NBC with the NBC Sports app. It is a way that you can get closer with alternate camera angles, driver stats, track information, another accessory for you to enjoy these races anytime, anywhere.
Hey, Steve, I got a question for you with a 3-car strategy. With all the conversation about tire wear and how excessive it is here, what's your confidence level on Ty Dillon's car of only putting 2 tires on?
Well, Rick and I were just discussing that. I mean, the wear is going to be higher on the rights, but I would be concerned about the left front. We have not seen any laps. I mean, this track is notorious for tire wear early. It's a big gamble for the 3. I can't imagine they're going to come in and take left sides right here. That would kind of kill the strategy. So, like I said, this tire they ran last year, and even though the track conditions were different, it must seem that Nick Harrison, he's a gambler, and he's going to say, you know what, Ty, we're going to try to take the gamble to get the track position. Remember, Ty Dillon, he's won here before.
So Nick Harrison will have the advantage of being able to see the other teams when they take their left side tires off to see that kind of wear. He'll have an idea then if his left side tires are good.
He is, but if he decides to pin him after that, that's going to really be a tough call. I don't think I'd want to know.
Or maybe nurse it until he can get to lap 30 and into first stage.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. But there's no question what all these guys are going to do right here. The 7 of Justin Allgaier will lead his teammate, Elliott Sadler, Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece. Daniel Hemrick will all come to pit road, and this is a long, long pit road and also very narrow when you try to blend in and out of your pit stall. Dylan.
And Chase Elliott has marched from 10th up to 3rd so far here in these opening 10 laps. Hits his mark, crew reminding him to look for the 23 pit and not the 9 sign that he'll see later on this afternoon. He's a little bit loose. They're going to add tape and 4 tires. They're also battling a bad water temperature gauge. Going to run everything off the off the oil pressure gauge the rest of the day. Marty?
Justin Allgaier gave a tip of the cap to his teammate Elliott Sadler for staying behind him. He said the car, quote, drove fantastic. A little bit free when he was by himself and tight when his teammate Elliott Sadler was behind him. An air pressure adjustment for Elliott Sadler. He said it was free right in the middle of the corner, and an air pressure adjustment for him. 4 fresh Goodyear tires for every one of those guys, but you see Tyler Reddick with 2 guys, and we're going to check these tires as they come off of the cars, Rick.
And a close call there for the 4 of Ross Chastain. He locks his brakes up to avoid on this narrow pit road.
Under caution still here at Indianapolis after the competition caution at lap 10. 17 to go here in stage 1. And let's take a look at the tires that came off of, in this case, Ryan Blaney's car. This is the right front tire, and you can see that cording on it. Honestly, guys, I would say that's not that bad to me. I expect it to be a lot worse than this. So after 10 laps, and this will get better as more rubber is laid on the track, Dylan.
Well, and Marty, that's kind of the same story down here as well. Ryan Truex, he has a problem on his right front, the inside sidewall. You can see the cording there as well. Not too severe, obviously something you don't want to see though, but as expected, longer we run, should be a little bit better. Kelly?
Well, remember, Cole Custer was one of the first to come to pit road. He did that on lap 9, and you see what his right front tire looks like. A little bit of cording to start happening there. And if you're wondering how interested the Cup crew chiefs are in all of this, you'll see Rodney Childers, Kevin Harvick's crew chief there, standing by at the 00, observing carefully.
And I agree, Rick. I think those tires could have easily looked worse. So kind of a standard for Indianapolis.
Strategy call for Ty Dillon and Cole Custer. They are the front row as the green flag comes back out here at Indy. Diving into turn 1. The 3 with the advantage. Ty Dillon has it just in front of Cole Custer.
Cole Custer in the 00, trying to fend off a challenge for the number 2 position. Here comes Allgaier in the 7, flying around the outside of Custer. He'll go to second, or will he? Here's Custer back to the inside as they race for the number 2 spot.
Bagman, I'm seeing a trend. The outside lane is the lane to be in on the restart. Look at Chase Elliott laid up on the bumper of Justin Allgaier. He gets a big run on Ty Dillon. He's going to go to the outside here. Can he clear him? Yes, he can. Down into turn 3. What a pass.
If Justin Allgaier used that draft perfectly getting into turn 3, jumped on the outside, rolled right by him. You can see the 23 of Chase Elliott. He now is on the outside, hoping the line goes with him to try to get by John Hunter.
Allgaier didn't want to let anyone else lead laps here at Indy, but right now he's got a challenge once again from Ty Dillon. Dillon goes to the outside. He'll take the lead back as they go into turn 1.
Flying around the outside comes Ty Dillon back to the point. Allgaier in the 7 to second. Here's Cole Custer. He will race in the number 3 position in the 00. They start stacking up from 4th on back. Tyler Reddick in the 9 to the inside of Chase Elliott in the 3.
Here they are 2 by 2. He's got help there, Tyler Reddick. Looks like it's the 1 car of Elliott Sadler you see down the bottom. He's going to push him. Will he make this move we've seen the outside? No, he will not. He'll follow Tyler Reddick down into turn 3 as Chase Elliott falls behind John Hunter Nemechek.
See, the action continues getting into turn 4. Still the bottom is open underneath Chase Elliott. It's amazing how these runs happen, and when they do, it's like a super speedway. If you're in the wrong line, you just lose position after position.
22 of Ryan Blaney looked to the inside. Now it's 3 wide. Here comes Matt Tiff. Dove all the way to the inside wall, trying to take that spot away, and he takes it as they go into 1.
3 wide for the 7th position to the inside of the racetrack. They stack it up now, headed to 2. Matt Tiff into 2. The 23 of Chase Elliott. You've also got Ryan Blaney in the 22. Again, they are stacked up from 7th on back.
And a key move by Ryan Blaney there to slot back in. He was getting ready to get freight trained, as you were talking about, Jeff. If you're not in lane, if you're not in the draft, you are a sitting duck. We see some cars peeking inside of turn 3, but they're not going to make the move.
Yeah, I think it's in the best interest of this pack just to stay single file to try to run the front pack down. A little bit of discipline here will probably help running the front pack down. Just use that draft to your advantage.
We're on board with Justin Allgaier. You mentioned patience, Jeff Burton. Well, the 9 of Tyler Reddick, the 1 of Elliott Sadler, they have caught the tail end of this lead pack, making it now a 5-car single-file draft off turn 1.
Justin Allgaier in the 7 from his in-car. The helmet cam now as he tries to regain some lost ground, but he's got them lined up at the back door. 3 of them. Cole Custer in the 00. Here's Elliott Sadler peeking to the inside of his teammate Tyler Reddick, but he'll back away.
And I heard him lift there into turn 1, trying to get some distance between himself and Ty Dillon. He makes the move the inside with help from Cole Custer. I believe that was all designed into turn 1 as Ty Dillon falls back to 3rd.
That was a great move. Caution right now on the racetrack.
There was a car slow on the backstretch. That's the 66, Brendan Hightower. And you see a little bit of damage to the right front. So already the second caution has come out. The first one was the competition caution at lap 10. This one, hear the question being asked, did you hit the wall?
We saw the 3 of Ty Dillon lose the lead right there. And you heard Parker mention that he had the lift. You have to ask yourself if those 2 tires, the left sides might not be wearing to a problem of failure, but they could be losing grip. So did he have to just jump out of the throttle just for a second to make sure he got to the bottom of the racetrack? These are the questions you just don't know. We're going to have to see how this race unfolds. If Ty can stay up to the front, I'm sure other drivers and crew chiefs will be taking note of that 2-tire decision.
Let's look back at what happened to Hightower. He said just got loose.
Yep, and then just, Indianapolis in general, it's narrow. There's not a lot of place. So if you spin, you're going to hit something. I mean, that damage right there is perhaps not going to end his day, but it's heavy enough that they're going to have to come to pit road. It's definitely going to end his chances of having a good day.
Another one of the drivers that has no experience at this racetrack, had never started a race at Indianapolis, so a quick learning curve, and apparently in 18 laps didn't learn enough.
Well, Well, I'm going to tell you what, Rick, I don't care how many starts you have. Last year is the only one that matters to me because this doesn't look like any racing I've ever seen in Indianapolis. I've been coming here for years, and this is a racetrack that there's always a lot of dicing on the restarts, but then they get single file and it's very rhythmic. You have to hit every single corner perfectly and inch your way onto the leader. With this aerodynamic package here, it's not that at all. It is decision time. Do you draft? Do you pass? Do you follow? Do you be patient with your teammate? It is truly a chess game at 180 miles an hour, and these guys are doing a remarkable job at the front of the field.
Allgaier, once again, back out front. The field at Indianapolis. Cole Custer, Ty Dillon, Reddick, and Sadler, the top 5. NASCAR Drive, that is your live race day companion. You can watch throughout the broadcast, select alternate camera angles, or you can ride along with in-car video of your favorite driver. You never miss a lap with NASCAR Drive. Go to NASCAR.com/drive. Dylan.
Well, we've been talking about tire wear so far, and Ross Chastain, they were under the hood. They're trying to adjust the camber in the front tires because theirs were wearing so bad that they weren't going to make it. So they had to come in and make a pretty strong, a severe adjustment to make sure that they at least made it to the end of this race. So they were battling a really tight condition there on top of that as well. So they think they've got it corrected, but kind of a wait-and-see game right now for the 4 of Ross Chastain.
Well, it's a good decision. When we look at the playoff leaderboard and you look at Ross Chastain, he's the first driver in still. And at plus 43 points, he doesn't have to have a spectacular day. He just can't have a horrendous day. And blowing a right front tire would be that type of day. So make some big changes early to try to correct that tire wear.
And this isn't the end of the regular season for the Xfinity Series. They have one more race. Vegas will be the end of their regular season.
So a lot of points still to come. We talked about the racing looking different. Well, restarts at Indianapolis have been crazy. It's been crazy for 25 years on the Cup side and for 7 years on the Xfinity side. And here is the perfect example. Look at these teammates. First of all, look at the movement up and down the grid, but the teammates on the outside are really what I want you to look at. And it starts here with Justin Allgaier getting this help. Yes, that beating and banging is help from his teammate, the 1 of Elliott Sadler. And you see what it does. It propels the 7 out to the lead. We go to the next restart. We have the 3 of Ty Dillon on the outside of those 2 tires, and behind him, look at that, Justin Allgaier again. His car seems to be good. but look what it looks like from row 3. I mean, I don't know about you, Rick, but I'm going to have a hard time just driving down in there, and that's only row 3. Imagine row 5, row 8, row 10. So restarts are going to be a conversation. Really, they are always a conversation when you come to Indianapolis, and today's going to be no different.
And the field giving the 1 to go sign. Again, it'll be Allgaier and Ty Dillon making up row 1. Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick back in 2. John Hunter Nemechek and Elliott Sadler in row 3. Allgaier seems to early on have an extremely strong race car.
He has done a very nice job of keeping his track position. I really think that's what this race is going to be about. Why you can pass. You know, if you lose 5 or 6 spots, you can get back up there. It's going to be much more difficult. As you get behind the first or second or third rows, it seems like the guy back, you know, in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th position, even though they can stay in line, they can't seem to overcome all 8 spots. You know, you can move around inside the 4 or 5 you're running with, but it's not the type of race I think you're going to drive 20 spots to the front. I love that kind of go through. Look at the eyes of Christopher Bell with that clear lens. Kelly.
Hey, Steve, a little bit of strategy amongst the leaders here. Here's the radio from the 9 car of Tyler Reddick.
First or 5th, doesn't matter for what we're doing right here. We're trying to get our group as far out in front as we can, you know, to gap everybody behind us. It's going to be important on that stage, too.
So you hear him say the top 5 trying to get a big gap on the rest of the field there.
And they're already looking ahead. End to stage 2. We haven't even finished stage 1 yet.
And already thinking about the aerodynamics, the drafting that has already taken place. So the pace car once again, the hard left turn onto pit road. And Allgaier in charge of the field in the gray 7 on the outside of row 1. Ty Dillon in the 3 on the inside of row 1. And back up through the gears they go on the front stretch. A little help, and now everyone fanning out, fighting for themselves. The 0-0 of Cole Custer to the inside, 3 wide, fighting for that second spot.
Tight squeeze for second. It's Tyler Reddick flying around the outside of Ty Dillon. Now Custer will storm to the inside as well. Side by side for second. That allows Justin Allgaier in the 7 to get away.
As you see them blocking and moving around, jockeying for position. Justin Allgaier gets away. Tyler Reddick's got the push and Ty Dillon. We've seen that bottom lane is just a sitting duck on the restarts. 3 wide down into turn 3 again. Elliott the 1 car. Oh, we got one around. Ty Dillon into the 1, hard into the wall.
Wow. Elliott Sadler caught up the 1 car. And a lot more damage. Cars getting into the grass, and we know that there's so much moisture in the grass, tearing cars apart.
They were covered on our inside.
Gloves off. It's going to be the end of the day for the 1 Elliott Sadler. Heavy, heavy contact. 2 wide is one thing. 3 wide
Nowhere
is
I could go, man.
so much more difficult.
Super heavy damage here, guys. Just be ready.
The 12 also involved. That's Austin Cindric.
Damage on that car looks like maybe he was one of the cars that went in the grass. I'll have to see the replay to confirm, but that grass, you mentioned it, Rick, inches of rain. It looks green, but we know it is soft and muddy underneath it. Just pulls the cars in, tears the noses off.
Meteorologists said that over the last 4 days it has rained almost 5 inches here in Indianapolis. So they wanted to avoid getting into the grass, but this was 3 cars fighting for real estate, and it wasn't there.
Yeah, so we saw the 3 of Ty Dillon had the front row for the start, but just didn't get going. He was backing up, and here he is 3 wide. The 42 of John Hunter makes a nice pass around the outside, and almost like the air just pulls the 3 around. He spins out basically by himself in the middle of 3 wide. As he comes around, he makes contact with the 1. This shot right here, look at the safer barrier. Elliott Sadler up. Man, that's a hard impact. Safer barrier doing its job, was giving these cars were running 5th and 7th at the time of the accident, and then you see the 76, my goodness, parts flying off that car as he went through the grass to try to avoid the cars in front of him.
Yeah, that's 76.
Remember that
Spencer Boyd.
That 3 at Ty Dillon was on 2 tires. I don't know if that has anything to do with this accident, whether it was aerodynamics, whether it was just a bad place. We'll have to ask Ty when we get to speak to him later, but basically spins out in the middle of 3 wide, collects Elliott Sadler, really nowhere to go, running by himself at the bottom.
16 of Ryan Reed also got caught up in this. Got tagged by the 1 right there.
Here's the 12. So the 12 didn't spin. You already see the damage. That tells me that came from the grass.
And we'll ride along with Elliott Sadler and the 1 car.
2 by 2, 3 wide, 1 outside, 1 outside. You have no pusher behind you. It's 2 back to 2 wide. Good to push hard when you get there. Nothing in front of 00. Outside line. Here comes the run behind you. Big run behind you. Still 3 wide. Clear high. Inside. Inside, inside, inside. Oh, we were screwed there.
That's Brett Griffin's voice. We actually had dinner with Brett Griffin yesterday, and this is a difficult situation for the 1 of Elliott Sadler. Announced his retirement earlier, just a couple weeks ago. Not the way he wanted to end his last race at Indy. Parker.
Well, Rick, and one thing I noticed there is twofold. One, you're 3 wide in the middle where you've got no side force. On the right side, you're lacking downforce because you're in a pack like that where Ty Dillon was. But 2, with this package, as we've seen, if you give up any speed as you come through these corners going back onto the straightaways, you're going to lose multitudes position. So I think for Ty, he was in a tricky position where he just had to stay in the throttle and try and fight through that 3 wide. Kelly.
We've got the 3 of Ty Dillon here on pit road. The team assessing the damage and making some repairs. Ty said that all the wheels felt straight. They just felt like they had some flat, so they've already put 2 new left side tires on. The left side is the side that sustained most of the damage. They're just working on the fenders, going to throw some Bear Bond on there, Marty, but they're going to try to get this 3 car back out there.
Austin Cindric on pit road. Kelly, they're going to be done for the day. You see all that damage on the left front there, and the warning has gone out across pit road from all crew chiefs. If you have to avoid an accident, talking to their drivers, do not go into the grass because it will do that to your car, completely destroying the front end of the race car. Also getting some damage there, Christopher Bell. He will pit from 11th, but obviously you do not want to be in that grass trying to avoid an accident.
And they're picking the pieces up now. Again, the aero ducts have to remain in the cars. That's one of the things with this aero package. And we saw the 3, the damage to the left front. That aero duct has to stay in there, even though they were cutting away a lot of the parts of that car. There you see almost the entire front end of the 76 of Spencer Boyd is gone. They'll continue to clean up. We'll have the restart when we come back. Scott Dixon looking for his 5th Verizon IndyCar Series title. Find out Sunday when IndyCar crowns a champion on NBCSN. It is double points racing. That coverage of the Grand Prix of Sonoma begins at 6:30 Eastern. Dixon with a 29-point lead over Alexander Rossi, and Rossi has been absolutely on fire the past couple weeks. We are at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and very excited that NBC has the Indy 500 next May. Looking forward to that entire month of May.
And Rick, I'm already calling all the bosses saying, listen, there's got to be something I can do. I've never been to an Indy 500.
You're a crew chief.
I've always been down at the 600 in Charlotte, so anything they can dream up for me to come up here and see that race, I would absolutely be on board. It's a spectacle of auto racing. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely incredible event. And once again, we look at why we're under this caution.
Yeah, you can see right here, guys, this 3 wide. You can see John Hunter Nemechek jumped up on the outside of Dillon, and when he did, I agree with Parker. I think that just pulled the side force away from that 3 car, and now he was just along for the ride. I do also think that lack of grip, that, you know, putting 2 tires on versus 4, that could have played a factor. But when that momentum jumps up on the outside, it pulls all that downforce away from the side of the car. That is very hard to handle, and you can just see Ty knew he was in trouble. There was just no way he could get the car back underneath him.
Guys sneaking by there. Ryan Blaney in the bright yellow 22 was able to get by, as well as the 18 of Ryan Preece.
Well, now pit road's open, and Rick, I would be coming to pit road with only 4 to go to the end of the stage. I think this is an absolute great fuel window. You could run until the end of the 2nd stage from here, and you see a bunch of cars. The leaders try to stay out, but not all of them. It looks like the 9 of Tyler Reddick, perhaps the first car on pit road. Kelly?
Yeah, and remember, he took 2 tires last time down pit road. The call now for Tyler Reddick is 4 tires. He's had a race car that's been just a little bit tight on the splitter at times as well. So he comes in from 3rd place. You see they make a chassis adjustment as well, Marty.
A bit of a mess here on pit road, Kelly. Ryan Blaney gets to a stall, but right behind him is a tow truck pulling off Austin Cindric's car, and that's probably part of the reason that Jason Burdett did not pull Justin Allgaier down pit road, because that is immediately in front of their stall. Ryan Blaney was able to get that pit stop done, but this tow truck and Austin Cindric's car sitting right in front of Justin Allgaier's pit, so I think that's part of the reason why Jason Burdett said stay out, we'll stay on the racetrack.
Difficult situation there for the cars just behind and in front of the 12. We'll be back with more of the Lilly Diabetes 250 right after this.
back at Indianapolis with Elliott Sadler, one of the cars involved in that wreck. Not really any place for you to go there. Just take us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, we kind of caught in the middle there, and the 3 was spinning, and he did a good job trying to keep it out of the wall, but it just kept it right in the line we were in, and I had no place to go. If I'd have turned left, I'd have just ran over the people beside me. So tough day for us. I mean, that's, you know, puts us out of contention for the regular season championship, and it'll hurt us in the points. But the main concern, that was one of our best cars. So put my guys probably in a hole to get ready for the playoffs where everything's important. So that's probably going to be the tough thing. But we'll rebound. My car was really fast today, and we'll try to go get it in Vegas and try to get some momentum back before we get to Richmond.
Not the way he wanted to end his final race at Indianapolis either. Elliott Sadler done early.
Marty.
Hey guys, there was an uncontrolled tire penalty for Ryan Blaney and his team, and we mentioned there was a tow truck, in essence, in their pit box. Brian Wilson, the crew chief for Ryan Blaney, is livid down here. Was it talking to NASCAR officials? He's very upset about the uncontrolled tire. They feel like the tow truck certainly had something to do with that, so they are not happy that they're going to get this penalty on the 22 car.
Yeah, we showed it sitting in the pit stall between Ryan Blaney and Justin Allgaier.
And Steve explained, the officials that are right there in the pit stalls, they're not the ones making the calls as far as these violations.
No, they're basically for communication. There is a number of officials on pit road that allows the crew chief to come down and talk to them. They can communicate to the tower and to the trailer where the decisions are being made.
One lap shootout to find out who will win stage 1 between Allgaier and Custer up front, Nemechek and Priest running in the second row. Back up through the gears they go. Allgaier on the outside in the 7. Custer in the 00, nosing ahead as they go through 1, heading down the short chute.
Leaning on each other, coming into turn number 1, Cole Custer in his white Ford Mustang, down to the inside of Justin Allgaier in the 7. Side by side, it's a dead heat through turn number 2, with Allgaier having the advantage in the outside, but Cole Custer hangs with him down low for the lead.
And it's the first time we've seen the inside line be able to make any sort of move. 3 wide behind them, neither of them have help. This is side by side for the lead and 3 wide for second place. Can Cole Custer save aside Justin Allgaier? No! Justin Allgaier is able to hold him off there.
Stage racing is awesome. Coming into the stage, Cole Custer driving underneath Allgaier. They're going to be side by side on the straightaway. Will that second row catch him and push somebody to get the win?
It's a fight for the stage win. Side by side, dicing, trying to block, trying to push. Allgaier has the advantage. 4 wide as they cross the stripe. Photo finish for stage 1. Our scoreboard says John Hunter Nemechek gets it by 13 1/1000ths of a second over Ryan Priest, Custer 3rd, and Allgaier was 4th. John Hunter Nemechek, stage 1 winner. And that is why we love this Aero Package and stage racing. Look what they were doing to get the win of stage 1.
And we knew when the first 2 cars were side by side, it was going to be chaotic. And it surely was. I like Christopher Bell. He didn't pick anyone. There's a lane open. I'll just go up here to the top.
36 1/1000th of a second separated 1 through 4.
Oh, look at this. As Ryan Priest goes to the top. I said it was Christopher Bell. Excuse me, Ryan Priest in that 18. I thought for sure he was going to push the 7. There's at least, 15 feet. I'll just come up here 4 wide. Look at this.
4 wide for the win of stage 1.
And a great job by Ryan Priest. He was only a few inches from winning it.
And who came off of turn 4 with the lead? Justin Allgaier?
Yeah.
He finished 4th in that battle. Well, folks, we appreciate you joining us on a Monday morning. If the coffee didn't get you going, 4 wide to end stage 1 has to definitely help. John Hunter Nemechek with stage 1 win. And John Hunter Nemechek, one of the drivers of the 42, doesn't run the full season. So this run for him, not so much a points situation, but really just getting a lot of experience and having a quality run, especially in that 42.
Well, we've seen that 42 as Ross Chastain last week at Darlington lead a tremendous amount of laps. We've seen so many different guys get opportunities this year and make the most of them. That's what John Hender's trying to do here. He's had some bad luck in his trucks and mechanical stuff, but you know, he knows that he's driving premier equipment and he wants to prove it.
Well, some excellent action taking place here at Indianapolis. Next Saturday on NBCSN, the NASCAR Xfinity Series will be in Las Vegas that will be the final race of the regular season for the Xfinity Series. That race coverage begins at 5 p.m. Eastern. And temperature quite a bit different. They're telling us that it's going to be over 100 degrees in Vegas.
I was going to tell Burton he didn't have to pack that coat. Yes. You can leave the coat here, Jeff.
I appreciate that. I'm excited because it's cold here today.
Well, an incredible finish to stage 1.
I'm a little I mean, there's 69 to go. I expected 2 wide, maybe 3 wide. But when Ryan Preece hung a right and made it 4 wide without even beating and banging on a very narrow racetrack, listen, I can't wait for another stage and a race. I mean,
wait a minute. As an analyst, are you speechless? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just glad you were calling the action. I'll worry about when they should pit.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Speaking of when they should pit, it's going to be interesting to see who pits here because the leaders have only 7 green flag laps on their tires, 13 under yellow. Will someone do something different? Will somebody stay out on the racetrack? We saw the back half of the field has already come to pit road. I think it's going to be kind of a split decision at the front of pit road. We'll see who does what as the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek seems to be the first car. He's leading the cars to pit road, Kelly.
We'll also see the 18 of Ryan Preece and the 00 of Cole Custer make their way down pit road. Ryan Preece said he's been pretty happy with the balance of his 18 car, just a little bit looser, but not bad. For the 00 of Cole Custer, they told him to drive it like he stole it there on that final restart to close out the stage. He too has been tight when he was out front and then got a little bit loose in traffic. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment for Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Marty.
How about the move for John Hunter Nemechek? All they said was, attaboy, after that great move to be able to get the stage win here. You saw him slide to a stop. That right rear hanging a little bit outside the pit box. This should be a fine stop for them, though. Said his car needs to be tightened up just a little bit. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, air pressure adjustment, and some tape on the nose. You see Brandon Jones there. 2 tires. Nice move there, Rick.
Yeah, 5 spots gained for Brandon Jones. But again, there will be cars that stayed on the racetrack, so this pack will start a little bit deeper on the restart.
Oh, I'm ready to call it. I'm ready to call it in the replay. Man, what a finish.
Make sure you tune in to NASCAR America. It is always a great show, keeps you up to date as to what's happening on the weekend, what's coming up. And today, a special NASCAR America is happening at 12:30. That will be the pre-race for the Monster Energy Cup Series racing from right here at Indianapolis. The Brickyard 400 scheduled to run at 2 o'clock, and then, of course, post-race coverage afterwards. Once again, guys all the way around the racetrack calling the action. Let's check in with them again.
Rick, I'll tell you, the action here in this first stage has been incredible. And the restarts, well, they're always intense here at Indianapolis. It's amazing that they've been able to sort everything out by the time they got to turn 1. And if somebody gets away, well, there's always turn 2, and there's always that backstretch to regain that lost ground. It's amazing racing. It's amazing intensity. And that's here at the south portion of this racetrack. When they cleared 2, things have gotten dicey on the backstretch as well. Parker, they've been jacking up everybody going over there in turn 3.
They have. They've been getting 2, 3, even 4 wide as they head into turn 3 with the huge runs that are generated on the restarts as we saw there coming to the end of that stage. It was simply awesome, and I thought that Allgaier had won that stage as he cut off Cole Custer down into turn 3, but no. It was just setting up for that crazy fanning out that we saw getting into, well, basically the run through 3 into turn 4, and then eventually on the front stretch. And also, I've sent my buddy Dale Jr. a text, who's going to be here later today for the Cup race. These are handy hand warmers, guys.
Well, you definitely need hand warmers, Parker. But, you know, I tell you what I find interesting is that Cole Custer did a really good job on that restart on the bottom. He held off and made them 2 wide getting into turn 3. Well, that created the chaos for 4 wide at the start-finish line. So what these drivers are doing right now is learning. They're learning what does work, what doesn't work. So when you get that late race restart, you can execute. We've seen it done right. We've seen it done wrong. I think Cole Custer did that one right, but he still didn't win the stage.
He didn't win the stage, but Parker, I won't lie, I had a hard time believing everything you were telling me as you were showing me hand warmers in September at the Brickyard.
But he kept them in his hands while he was doing the report, too. I've noticed that those were still in his hands.
Well, the key is they're in the pockets. So
Okay.
I keep my hands in the pockets, they warm the pockets, and then when I have to do things, I obviously bring my hands out and back in. I'm like a QB, right? Don't they have a warmer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're a QB. We saw
that yesterday.
We did. Well, what we see now, though, are some new drivers at the front of the field. We had a bunch of guys decide to pit before that last caution, or excuse me, before the end of the stage. And now we have the 9 of Tyler Reddick, the 2 of Matt Tifft on the front row. We're going to see what they can do. Daniel Hemrick and Austin Dillon, Christopher Bell, Michael Annett in the 3rd row. So new players for a crazy restart, Rick.
Tifft and Reddick side by side. Matt Tifft in the 2, Tyler Reddick in the 9. And getting underway was stage 2. Green flag back in the air. A little help from Hemrick as Hemrick gives the shove to Reddick on the inside. They work their way into the short chute.
That will propel him to the lead, him being Tyler Reddick. Here comes Daniel Hemrick in the 21. His teammate Matt Tifft in the 2 to his outside. That is the side-by-side battle for the number 2 position as they exit turn 2 and onto the back straightaway.
And let's see if Tyler Reddick's a sitting duck here as Matt Tifft gets pushed in that light blue car. But the dark blue car of Christopher Bell moves down the inside. Reddick blocks. What a move. Christopher Bell's going to hold the outside of Matt Tifft. Matt Tifft gets real loose. Oh, they're into each other.
Oh, that was so close to being a wreck right there. Matt Tifft, in the end, just could not hold his car on the bottom. The 20 car there, the little white car of Christopher Bell, he made a great move to drive up. I thought he was going to drive up to second and maybe even take the lead.
Hemrick able to take advantage of the bumping and banging taking place. He moves up to second behind Tyler Reddick. So it's Reddick, Hemrick, Bell, Dillon, and Michael Annett joining this mix, running in the 5th position.
4-car breakaway now for the lead, and they're stacked up from the number 4 position, make that the number 5 spot on back. That battle right there, that yellow and white car, that is Austin Dillon down to the inside of Christopher Bell as they continue to shuffle things up at the front of the field.
These two are side by side. They're not going to make any gains on the front 2 there. Daniel Hemrick and Tyler Reddick. You see Austin Dillon in that second Colleague racing car, the first time they've ever run 2 cars here in the Xfinity Series. He makes the pass on Christopher Bell.
It's good to see a new team come out and run that well. That is that second car for Colleague, and a really good run for Austin Dillon. We see the violent net. He's lost his momentum. They're going to stack up behind him.
Matt Tifft trying to gain some room back from when the contact was made, but he is really just holding up. It looks like a charging group behind him As two wide, they go into turn number 1, fighting for those positions. Tip currently running 5th.
Pack of raging bulls there for that number 5 spot. Matt Tiff trying to hang on to it. A couple of new players at the front of the field. Jeremy Clements in the black number 51 on the outside of that brightly colored car, that 22 for Ryan Blaney.
You can throw a blanket from 8th back to 15th here, Bagman. Oh, we got to change for the lead. Daniel Hemrick goes around Tyler Reddick, brings Austin Dillon with him. Tyler Reddick slots in behind the 2 in front of Christopher Bell.
And look at the gap this front pack. They have driven away from this second pack. All that action we saw, created it, let them get away, and they still see Jeremy Clements in that 51 car. A small, underfunded team competing with the big dogs today.
Hands down, the best racing ever at Indianapolis. They continue to swap the lead. Now with the front floor play nice together. Will they try to stretch their lead, or will they be greedy, start to pass, and let some of these other guys reel them in?
That blue car for Chase Elliott, he is on the move. He is making some moves down to the inside of the racetrack. Brandon Jones in that green and white number 19 car pulls his car to the bottom of the racetrack. He is 3rd in line in that battle, which is led by Jeremy Clements.
And you see Jeremy Clements there in 9th. He's going to hopefully bring that car to Vegas as his backup cars. That team wants to come out of here clean. They do not want to have to go back to their shop in South Carolina. You see Chase Elliott go to the inside of him. He's not able to make that pass to see if he can make it down into turn 4.
And he couldn't make that pass, and that's stacked up. Chase Elliott moved behind him and created 2 wide. But let's go back. Look at Matt Tiff on the inside a few laps ago. How loose he gets. You can see his left side's below that yellow line, which is where you want to be. And Christopher Bell gave him room. Good job by both drivers, knowing they were in a tough situation.
Here come the leaders, back into turn 2. Up front, it's Daniel Hemrick. But the good racing is further on back. That's where Jeremy Clements' mirrors, that is, are filled with Chase Elliott. Elliott sets him up off the short chute, and here comes Chase Elliott in that blue number 23 to the inside.
And they're going to say goodbye. Jeremy Clements has just now got to push his Chase Elliott right on by. It's all about having that help. Now Ryan Truex is looking to the outside. He's not able to take that run on Jeremy Clements. Jeremy's going to hopefully just latch on the back of that 723 and see if they can draft forward.
And Parker, Jeremy Clements and his team, they build their own engines, and they're competing against different motorsports engines directly in front of them. That's where this Aero Package helps. You don't necessarily have to have that big funding. You can get a little bit of a draft down the front straightaway and help you, even if you're a little bit underpowered.
And Jeremy Clements now running in the 11th position, but it's still Daniel Hemrick up front. Austin Dillon running 2nd as we go NASCAR nonstop from Indianapolis. 12 and under are free for every Xfinity and Camping World Truck Series race on the schedule. There's discounted tickets that are also available for every Monster Energy Cup Series event. Go to NASCAR.com/kids tickets to learn more about free and discounted tickets for an event near you.
Everybody, let's get away from these guys. I'm not going to try and pass him. Just stay in line.
10-4 Austin. Message delivered.
That was the 10 radio of Austin Dillon. So he said he's going to stay in line, but for how long?
Well, I think that he's wise enough to know that the strategy needs to be to work together. Every time we see a pass, it slows the pack down a couple of tenths of a second. And to be honest, these leaders are still getting run down by the group behind them of Tift, Blaney, Priest, Custer. Even though those aren't as organized, they're good 2, 3, 4 tenths of a second faster. And with 16 laps to go in stage 2, I would expect that trailing pack to catch these leaders before we see the end of this stage.
I agree with you, Steve. We've been sitting here watching this second pack, and they're way faster than the first pack. Now they've caught them, though. At the 18, the 00, the 23, they've run this second pack down. Now let's see what happens. Let's see if they're able to keep that pace up or if they slow down once they get.
And as they cross the yard of bricks, take a look at the speeds they're going. Almost 170 miles an hour down this front stretch and diving into turn number 1. And the fastest lap being turned by Ryan Blaney. Kelly.
We heard that message from the team of Austin Dillon. The same message was given to Tyler Reddick in the 9 car. They told him, do not worry about making any passes. It was all about getting that group of 4 out to a lead, but it looks like they've got caught as they catch lap traffic.
Matt Tiff definitely didn't get that message as you saw him make some moves there on Chris Rebel, and this is the problem for those front 4s. We see the leaders got away. They don't know that they have that sort of deal going on right now, so when those cars get to them, they're going to try and make the pass.
So it's Reddick, Bell, and Tiff running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Reddick in the 9, Bell in the 20, and Tiff in the 2, all chasing after Hemrick and Dillon. Those two have got out to at least a 10-car lead.
Now what's important, Rick, is for those drivers that we're talking about, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and Matt Tiff, to be very disciplined. Stay in line, track those leaders down. They are in sporadic lap traffic, but the key is stay in line and stay in lockstep formation.
We're on board here right now with Christopher Bell. I just want to take a listen to this engine. Gives a bump there to Tyler Reddick. And just barely lifts, maybe not even lifts there into turn 3. And this is why they're generating the speed that they are to be able to catch those front leaders.
He had to go around a lap car. Watch the front straightaway. Watch what happens to Christopher Bell's car. You can see how far behind he is. The goal of this package is for this. Everywhere we go, the trailing car has a disadvantage because you get to the corner and you lose the you lose downforce. Here, you do lose downforce, but you're able to regain it down the front straightaway and the back straightaway. That's why this package works so well at this racetrack. Now that he's right against him, can he use it? You hear him have to throttle the pedal just a little bit because of handling, but watch him down this back straightaway as he approaches Parker. Look at the gain he's able to make.
Right, Jeff, let's just see. He goes to the inside here to make a pass on Tyler Reddick. He's got help there from Matt Tiff. He's going to get it done, and when he gets that clean air on the front nose, he can stay flat out and get away from Matt Tiff. That is why we're seeing the passes here as Tyler Reddick falls back.
That was a great example. The key is to stay, you can stay right against that guy, leaving the corner, then you use that draft to make the pass. That's what this whole package is about, guys, is that you have to give this trailing car some kind of an advantage somewhere.
Rick, with 50 now, 52 to go in the Xfinity race. It's not just an Xfinity race. How about the Cup race later? Look at this right here. Clint Boyer, I'm assuming sitting in his motorhome somewhere, excited racing right here, gets him excited to go later. Remember, we got this race. After this, we have a Cup race, a full day of racing from Indy, 12 to go in the stage.
We're on board here just now. He's got 2 in front of him, Cole Custer and Chase Elliott, so he's getting a massive draft. He's going to choose the bump in the back of Chase Elliott, using that bump draft to go by Cole Custer. We've been seeing this throughout the day down at turn 3.
This great in-car camera, the Sunoco cam gave him a great shot. Again, it's what do you do with that run that you get? You see right now, these two guys, they're side by side. It's in their best interest for somebody to give this fight up. Just fall in behind the guy. That way, there you go. Great move, in my opinion, by Ryan Preece. Give that spot up so he can run that group back down.
Aerodynamics coming into play so much here at Indianapolis with the new Aero Package. Hemrick and Dillon have used it to work their way out to almost a 1-second lead.
They come through turn 2 and go on to the back straightaway. More lap traffic directly ahead. Daniel Hemrick is that yellow and black car that will peel to the inside, and he'll bring Austin Dillon along for the ride as well.
I think the key here as they go by lap traffic is how much can Matt Tiff, Christopher Bell, and Ryan Blaney work together to catch those front leaders as we come to 10 to go in the stage.
And what was Paul Menard driving last year? An RCR car. That car has its best run or a long run. So I wonder if those RCR cars, that's why you're seeing them starting to drive away a little bit now. They have better handling cars.
And you see the blocking already taking place there as the 9 of Rennick able to make the pass, clear the 22 of Ryan Blaney. Tift still running just behind Blaney.
Leaders coming to turn 2, making moves inside and outside. Christopher Bell has been able to scamper away, leaving this battle now to be fought between Tyler Reddick. You've got Ryan Blaney. Oh, Matt Tiff gets a bit crossed up off 2.
Christopher Bell's a sitting duck up there, but just Algar bumps in the back of Chase Elliott, again using that bump draft to go by Matt Tiff. Matt Tiff has gone from inside the top 5 to a couple positions back.
Yeah, Matt Tiff just caught lap traffic at a bad spot. He could not roll around him and stay full throttle, and that lost his momentum. Chase Elliott took advantage of it.
I have to give an A+ to the leaders. Daniel Hemrick and Austin Dillon continue to work together, have stretched that lead to 1.5 seconds with 10 to go in this stage. Now, under 10 to go, can the other cars get organized? Can they make a run, Marty?
And those guys staying very disciplined. Brandon Lyons, a spotter for Daniel Hemrick, on the radio almost constantly around the racetrack. Keeping him disciplined, keep that 10 behind you, get away from everybody else. We've also heard a couple of other drivers say, hey, I'm getting worried about this right front, getting deep into this run with 9 to go in stage 2.
And worrying about tire wear, you're not going to miss a thing as we go NASCAR nonstop. coming up on the end of stage 2. And Steve, some of these drivers have to be a little bit worried about tire wear. This is the longest green flag run that they have had all weekend, but we did see the 16 with a tire issue come to pit road.
Yeah, it looked like a flat right rear on the 16, but it looked like there was either some damage. I would expect the issue on the Xfinity side to be the right fronts. Cup cars maybe the right rear, but you mentioned it, currently a 20-lap run, 23 green flag laps on these leaders' tires. So I think they're definitely trying to think and maybe back off a little, save a little right front tire, but if I'm a crew chief, I'm thinking I don't need to run 5 more laps. I'm not coming to pit road before the end of the stage. Try to get that track position. Daniel Hemrick, he may stay out for that playoff point, but I am, you know me, I'm greedy. I'm going to always get what track position I can as you start to see the guys line up.
Left side of the screen are the tires that came off of the 16 of Ryan Reed. And we saw that the right rear tire was down for Ryan Reed.
Well, the right front looks pretty good. Everyone was looking at the flat tire. I was looking at the other tire, and the right front looked pretty good. So as they come to 4 to go, you don't have to pit yet, but the next couple laps it'll be a decision. Once again, these 2 cars up here very efficient. Dylan?
Well, you can see that Michael Annett was making his way down pit road. They're going to head back to the garage because they had a bad vibration. They thought it was maybe with the tires. They came down pit road, changed tires. That didn't fix the vibration. A possible driveline issue. Now maybe the diagnosis for Michael Annett as he is headed back to the garage.
See Daniel Hemrick continue to hold off Austin Dillon. And Steve, I agree with you. I believe right now that Austin Dillon's kind of in the catbird seat. He can watch what Daniel Hemrick does and maybe decide to pit early here on the stage, flip it, and gain a lot of track position for the final one.
Well, we're coming to 3 to go. They're going to have to make that decision the next lap. So we'll know soon. But I'm watching these guys behind them. Christopher Bell's leading this pack, and he's starting to run that front pack down. We see some cars starting to peel off heading to pit road.
And already here come some of the cars onto pit road. This strategy call. Now, will they be able to make it on fuel if they don't stop again until the end of the race?
Yeah, they should be able to make it to the end, no problem with the guaranteed yellows at the end of the stage. The question for me, any trouble on pit road, they'll lose a lap, Dylan.
And Chase Elliott is in. They're going to go around and change the right side tires. Chase has been pretty quiet on the radio, but he's got his spotter. Eddie DeHaan has been coaching him around the racetrack, keeping him abreast of the gaps of the cars behind him to help him get runs on these guys in front of him. 4 tires and fuel for the 23, Kelly.
Tyler Reddick and this 9 team not concerned about stage points, so they also come to pit road. Tyler saying that he was just a little bit loose, had a little vibration. 5 Goodyear tires, Marty. 4 Goodyear tires.
Ryan Blaney on pit road. He said, "I'm loose and I'm slow and not even drivable," was his quote. 15.6 on the stop for these guys. And yeah, pitting with 3 to go here in this stage, kind of nothing for these guys to lose, and they'll have the track position when everybody else comes to pit road at the end of the stage.
So the question is, where is the leader? These guys are all blending. Oh, there's the leader. Just came into sight. The one help they have is Austin Dillon pitted this last lap, so Hemrick is now alone. This strategy only works if you stay in the lead lap. You see 4 cars blending. They're in line. What kind of momentum will Hemrick have? It's going to be close for Matt Tifft. Will his teammate cut him a break, or will he try to put him a lap down?
It works out well that it is his teammate that came out in front of him. He's going to try. He's going to try to go by him. No, he stays just behind the 2 of Matt Tifft. And a reminder, pit road closes 2 laps before the end of the stage. So that's why everyone was diving to pit road. And the 22 is going to get a speeding penalty. Ryan Blaney, a speeding penalty on pit road. He'll have to serve that penalty.
And guys, for Daniel Hemrick and Danny Stockman, this was a no-brainer for them to stay out. They saw everybody behind them pitting. They have only 3 playoff points all season long on the 21. They desperately need this 1 playoff point they're going to get if they can hang on and win this stage.
It's all situational, Rick. That's what I love about these stages, is NASCAR's done a nice job of putting a reward out there, so it's not a guarantee what everyone's going to do. I agree with that call. Get the playoff point. That could be the difference between moving on as we see the 7 of Justin Allgaier and the 20 of Christopher Bell continue to battle.
That's a fight for second right now. And again, every stage, they're able to earn points if you finish in the top 10. That's what's trying to happen now. Hemrick out in front. It's not going to be 4 wide for the win of stage 2. He's going to easily get the stage win. But the fight now is for this second spot. Side by side for second. Who will nose in front? Another photo finish for position. That time, Bell has the advantage over Allgaier. Cole Custer, Ryan Preece, and it's Brandon Jones. But the stage win going to Daniel Hemric. And when we say a stage win for Hemric, you have to think, when is that first win going to come for Daniel Hemric in the Xfinity Series? He's been so strong all year. Fourth time that he's won a stage, but still looking for the first checkered flag of the year as far as going to victory lane.
And Rick, as we enter the final stage, we had 4 wide for the win of stage 1, 2 wide, almost a photo finish for second in stage 2. I suggest you get yourself a drink, Rick, and start saving the voice a little bit, because this last 40 laps is going to be insane. There's no more
you're talking about
yellows.
me. I was talking about the fans at home that are watching. Go grab yourself a drink now, grab a snack, because the next 40 laps are going to be incredible.
Well, there's going to be no give or take, because you never know what position, what move is going to eliminate you from the chance to win. So, Jeff, these guys, I mean, right, you're going to have to race the last 40 laps not knowing what's the move that's going to put yourself in position for that final run to the finish.
I think that's exactly right. I think what's been happening here is this package of this racetrack is so unique. They've been learning how to use the aerodynamics, the lower horsepower. They've been learning how to use it to take advantage of it in this last stage. And for those at work that are watching, you cannot openly yell at work. You might get in trouble, but we appreciate you watching.
I think you can. I'm going to give him permission. If you want to just openly yell yes for exciting racing, just do it today. It's a special Monday when you have all-day NASCAR taking place from 10 in the morning all the way through probably 6 o'clock tonight, when the Brickyard 400 will come to its conclusion. Did we mention what's taking place a little bit later? Coming up next will be NASCAR America, the pre-race show for the Brickyard 400. Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Indianapolis. That's scheduled to go green flag at 2 o'clock. And then, of course, post-race coverage afterwards.
The final race of the regular season for the Monster Energy Series is going to be a battle to see who can win the regular season championship. No guarantee for Jimmy Johnson or Alex Bowman yet. Those two drivers, while they're inside the playoff grid, they're not guaranteed. We've seen how crazy this race is. We have no idea. The Cup cars also have had no time on the racetrack. Never has happened in the modern era of Cup racing, so you don't want to miss it. There's a lot of questions still to be answered later in the day.
Top 13 we will expect to be coming to pit road. You see the crews getting ready. That including Hemric, Bell, Allgaier, Custer, Preece, Brandon Jones, Ryan Truex, John Hunter Nemechek, Ross Chastain, Ryan Sieg, Jeremy Clements, Joey Gase, Chase Briscoe. They will all be making their way onto pit road now to get service. Marty.
4 playoff points now on the board for Daniel Hemric, and he wins that stage. And a very astute observation from him behind the wheel. He said, I'm a little bit too tight, but I think the track is changing, so let's leave the car alone where it is. So Daniel Hemric and his team going to make no changes here on the stop except for 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Justin Allgaier pits a few stalls in front of him. He said he's good when he's by himself, but he's tight when he's in traffic, so an air pressure adjustment to help that out. And then Christopher Bell towards the front end of pit road. He said, I was a little bit too free at the end of that run, but the balance was much better. Air pressure for him as well. 4 fresh Goodyear tires for all these guys, and they can make it to the end of the race from here.
Race off pit road won by the 7 of Justin Allgaier. He gains 2 positions. Cole Custer also positive as Hemric and Bell lose a couple spots. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by FanDuel. This season, there's more ways to win on FanDuel. Credit One Bank, the credit card perfect for everyday purchases. And by Ford, going further so you can. The iconic pagoda there, right at the start-finish line from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So much history. This area, this track has seen racing since 1909. And then the Cup Series came in 1994. Jeff Gordon got that first win. But it wasn't until Dale Jarrett won the race here, won the Brickyard 400, that the tradition started of kissing the bricks.
I'm going to tell you, there's not a more sweet, sand-filled rubber thing you'll ever do in your life than put your face against that dirty yard of bricks. And I'm telling you, I've been fortunate enough
it's
to do it.
It's very clean now, though.
I'll tell you, I've been fortunate enough to do it, and it's a moment in time sitting there looking down the front straightaway. It takes your breath away, what you've been able to accomplish at a great racetrack.
Taking your breath away? How about what we've seen already on the track?
Well, listen, we didn't know, we didn't see practice, but we saw this last year, and it continued again. 2, 3, 4 wide. You see John Hunter Nemechek right here. He's going to say, I'm not going to push. I'm going to the bottom. Ryan Preece said, will you go to the bottom? I'm going to go to the top. We will make it 4 wide for the stage 1 win. Look at that. I can say it now. I couldn't say a word when it happened live. I feel better now that I know it's coming.
And then stage 2, the fight for second was the biggest battle there, as a lot of strategy was being played. Guys coming in a little bit earlier for pit stops. That fight for second won by the 20 of Christopher Bell. And the guys around the track, I'm sure you guys have enjoyed this as much as we have up here in the booth.
You're absolutely right, Rick. This aerodynamic package that's on these cars, it is spectacular, especially on restarts, coming into turn 1, and then, of course, setting up passes and executing those passes on the backstretch, Parker.
Right, Bagman. They've been 3 and 4 wide. It's been absolutely insane watching them come down here into turn 3, and at times my pylon starts moving around. It's not from the race cars, it's from the fans jumping up and down on the grandstands and giving me the thumbs up, Jeff.
Yeah, what we've seen so far has been fantastic, but what I'm thinking about is what we're getting ready to see. We've seen restarts be so important and track position being huge, so expect more blocks, more aggressive moves as this race winds its way to the end.
I think we can expect the unexpected. Austin Dillon and Matt Tifft are making up row 1. Austin Dillon in the 10, the yellow front to that car. Matt Tifft in the light blue, number 2. All the way back 2 by 2, 2 wide as we get ready for the start of the third stage, third and final stage here at Indy. A little bit of help. Austin Dillon getting a shove from behind from Tyler Reddick, and he has the advantage as he goes into turn number 1, but Matt Tifft not giving up, battles back on the inside for the lead.
Tifft comes back to the bottom of the racetrack. He wants a piece of the lead. Austin Dillon is trying to deny him of that, although Dillon goes way wide. He gets a lot of momentum. He'll be able to hang on to the top spot as he tries to keep Tifft behind him on the back straightaway.
And we're seeing that inside line get smarter as Matt Tifft gets a big run and a big push from Chase Elliott. They're 2 by 2 by 2, 3 rows back. Austin Dillon on the outside for the lead on Matt Tifft. He's not able to clear him.
Yeah, Austin Dillon, I thought he could get down, but he just couldn't. Matt Tifft trying to take advantage of it. He's hoping that the 23, the little white car, Chase Elliott can go with him and push him. Which line is Chase Elliott going to choose?
Still side by side for the lead. Austin Dillon trying to nose in front, but now a little help for the 2 of Matt Tifft. Chase Elliott's going to shove him out into the lead. Elliott tries to take second. He'll keep that position. Matt Tifft out front at Indy.
Chase Elliott giving Matt Tifft the heave-ho into the clean air and back to the lead. Further back, they're starting to shuffle things up now. Daniel Hemrick, Cole Custer. Cole Custer in that 0-0 to the outside will fall in behind Hemrick as the battling continues off turn 2.
Justin Allgaier made about 3 positions there in turn 2. It's incredible. It's Ryan Preece on the back of Tyler Reddick. They're down in turn 3. They're side by side once again with the 20 car there, the blue and white one of Christopher Bell on the outside, trying to hold off Tyler Reddick.
And had Austin Dillon in that yellow and white car. He's like, I was leading this race a few minutes ago. Now I'm back behind all these guys. How is he going to get himself back to the front? 2 side by side, banging off turn 4.
And they're going to be 3 wide as they go into turn number 1 unless something changes here. shuffling for position, diving, dancing as they come down the front stretch and into turn number 1. Now they're 2 wide. Christopher Bell leading Tyler Reddick in the 9.
Stacked and packed from 4th on back. You've got Bell, you've got Reddick, you got Austin Dillon, who's got the old shuffle backward there. Dillon in that yellow and white number 10, facing a challenge. Cole Custer in that white 00 punches a hole to the bottom of the racetrack.
The elbows are up right now. They're sliding around, diving and juking around. You see the Daniel Hemrick goes all the way outside, 3 wide around John Hunter Nemechek. He actually backs off. He's not able to make the pass. He's going to lose 2, 3, maybe 4 positions here off of turn 3.
Yeah, Daniel Hemrick in that black and yellow 21 car, he was up front for a long time in this race. Now he's going to have to find a way to get back to the front. Little pit strategy got them in the back, but there's still plenty of time to get up and have a chance to win this race.
Tiff, Chase Elliott, and Justin Allgaier, 3 cars trying to go nose to tail and pull away from the rest of this pack as the chaos continues behind them. Marty.
Hey guys, the most popular thing here on pit road, crew chiefs down here from the Cup Series race, which is coming up in just a little bit. There you see Rodney Childers down here. Why are they all down here? There's Todd Gordon, also Luke Lambert down here on pit road, along with Chad Knaus a little bit earlier. They're all checking out the tires that have come off all of these cars. And the tire that came off Daniel Hemrick's car a moment ago, there it is. It was the right front tire. A lot of cords, 26 laps on those tires. So Steve, they can make it to the end here on fuel, but a lot of crew chiefs now considering, because they have 1 more set of tires in their stall, maybe splitting this final stage in half and coming to pit road to get fresh rubber.
That is a great decision, but a tough decision. Can you gamble and pit? Because if someone stays out, Rick, and next thing you know, they're by themselves, it's going to take 42 seconds to come to pit road. So if I'm the only guy on the racetrack, if I'm Matt Tifft and everyone else pits, I'm slowing down. I'm slowing down 2 seconds a lap. I'm going to baby that right front tire and try to take that tire all 40 laps. It only takes 1 guy to do it to ruin the strategy. It only takes 1 yellow to ruin that strategy. So we're going to see a lot of racing as they head down the backstretch in front of Parker.
Matt Tiff's doing a great job of controlling this pack, but he cannot be lulled into making a mistake or allowing Chase Elliott to make a move as they're heading your way, Jeff.
That's a great point, Parker. You have to have a super speedway mentality. Keep your eyes on that rearview mirror. Stay full attention all the time. Do not lose focus and let those guys get a run on you.
Parker said it best, elbows up right now. No one wants to give up any track position. Matt Tiff holding off Chase Elliott and Justin Allgaier. Now, Allgaier has a little shove on Chase Elliott. That gives Elliott the advantage. He goes to the outside, takes the lead away from Tiff.
He will power to the outside of Matt Tiff. Tiff quickly back in line. Justin Allgaier could not hitch a ride with Elliott to go to the point. They are stacked up single file with Matt Tiff, the new man, out in front.
And Matt Tiff strike back. He moves to the inside, jukes the inside, gets to the inside of Chase Elliott. He has the momentum right now. Can he take that in and take this lead? But Chase is going to squeeze him there, trying to use that side draft to fight back.
Watch what happens if these cars stay side by side in turn 4. Looks like they're going to. Can Justin Allgaier use this to get a big run and a push for Christopher Bell? Is he going to make it 3 wide? No, he's not. He's going to push to 23 Elliott.
Allgaier gives the shove to Chase Elliott. He'll move out front. Christopher Bell takes advantage of that line. Moves ahead of the 2 of Matt Tiff. Tiff falls all the way back to 4th now as Tyler Reddick is going to take away that spot as well as we go NASCAR nonstop. Moving around, he's going to take the steering wheel off and get ready to climb out, but what a close call. You saw it in NASCAR nonstop. He slammed into the inside wall, then right back out in front of traffic. Great heads-up driving for everybody around him. Now the drivers have been told, wait until the safety crew gets there before you climb out of the car, unless it's on fire. So Cole Custer, you saw him checking because he is still out on the track.
He's running in the 10th position. Let's take a look at how we saw the end of it there. We didn't get to quite see the cause of the 00. You're going to see he's right here at the top of your screen. It looks like he goes to the bottom of the racetrack. I'm not sure if he got pushed or was just going there to make a move. You see instantly the damage that the mud and the wet grass do to the front of this race car. He comes all the way in, and then you mentioned it. Driver's side into the safer barrier, which turns the car dead right. And this is where I was hitting you on the leg because I was worried. Look at this right here, back into traffic.
Close.
Oh, man, luckily Ryan Sieg right here, Ryan Reed, Chase Briscoe, Joey Gase, all doing a wonderful job of paying attention at this point, avoiding him. There's a lot of potential for another heavy impact.
Also in there, Joey Gase able to avoid.
Well, this is going to be a better look at it right here. So we see Custer on the top of the racetrack. He's just takes a left like he's going to get a run on the 22. I don't think he has any idea that the 19 of Brandon Jones is underneath him. That is a long ways from the spotters, Jeff. Maybe he just didn't have great communication to make that move.
Yeah, I think with 29 to go, it's just, we talked about it before this restart, that you're going to have to make some very aggressive moves. And, I think that's what he's doing. I think he's just trying to push the energy a little bit, trying to make a move, and it just wasn't a hole there.
One of the difficult things about this racetrack being so big, and obviously the trees and everything in the infield, they're beautiful, but it makes it difficult for spotters to see these cars and to clear them.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here in the pagoda with a great view, and we can see the front stretch in turn 4, but with the trees, I can't really see the entrance to turn 3. I mean, I have a clear line of sight, but the trees are in the way. This right here from the onboard is going to be a great shot.
19, all clear, all clear. 19 coming with you, inside now. 21's coming to help you. 19 hit you there, spinning. Correct, guys, and 19 running us there.
Well, you heard a spotter saying all clear, and that tells the driver it's all clear, but listen, you're the only one that goes to infield care center, and there's only one driver of that race car, and I understand the spotter has a job, but there's only one driver, and you've got to be the one to make those decisions.
Unfortunate for Cole Custer, his day also now done, but thankfully climbs out of the 00. Sixth caution has come out at Indianapolis, and some drivers taking advantage of this caution to come to pit road. Others will stay out. like Chase Elliott, race leader, Justin Allgaier running second.
So, Rick, I think this is all just a decision if you feel your right front tire can make it, and how many green flag laps are we going to see to finish this race. There's supposed to be 26 more, but you see the damage on the 00. If we have more yellows, obviously it's going to reduce the amount of green flag racing. That's what Chase Elliott, Justin Allgaier, Christopher Bell, that's what I think they're betting on, right? They say, you know what, I'm not sure the right front can go all 36 or 7 laps, but we have a yellow. Maybe that'll lead to another yellow. We're going to have a reduced amount of laps. So we're going to, it's a little gamble and keep the track position.
The cycling of the heat in these, or the tires, how does that change maybe the wear of them?
In most tracks it would make it different, but the surface here in Indianapolis, it doesn't change a whole lot. You would like to think it would give you a better chance, but it's just really a reduced amount of laps.
So Chase Elliott, again, out in front, and it's Justin Allgaier running second. Christopher Bell is third, Matt Tifft fourth, Tyler Reddick in the top 5. Restarts have been incredible. When we come back, the Lilly Diabetes 250, 25 laps to go.
Just under 25 laps to go here at Indianapolis in the final stage of the Xfinity race. We have Chase Elliott leading, Justin Allgaier. This is the accident involving Cole Custer. You're going to see again at the top of your screen, he changes lanes to make a move on the 22. The 19 is inside him. There's contact. The 00 goes spinning. So we showed it with spotter audio earlier when there was a little delay on the audio. We've worked very hard to track the audio and the video together. Take a listen to what this sounds like real time with the audio on the 00 radio.
Trying to go with you. Still there, right rear tight. Still there outside. Even, Nick.
22 up top by himself, halfback 19, all clear, all clear. 19's coming with you, inside now. 21's coming to help you. 19 hits you there. Spin it. Wreck guys, and 19 running now, I say.
Yeah, well, that's how quick things happen. You can hear that information coming from the spotter, and, you know, he said 19 inside and going with you, 19 inside, and Cole Custer made a split-second decision, and It just wasn't the right decision at that time. But we talked about it before this. They dropped the green flag. The end of this race is coming, and you're going to start seeing more of that. You're going to see more drivers pushing the issue, trying to get themselves in position to win this race. Everybody wants to be a winner at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And Rick, I love that we were able to completely sync those two things, because in the first time it seemed like there was a little bit of, the information didn't come quick enough. Well, now in real time, it was like a blink of an eye, right? The spotter said it as a 00 move. They basically did the moves at the same time, and that's what happens. And I can assure you, with 24 to go, that was a couple cars single file on the backstretch. Wait until you imagine 2 and 3 wide. We saw 4 wide.
4 wide. Yeah, we've seen some incredible things already today. And this is the first race of a doubleheader day from Indianapolis. And the spotter is a very difficult job. A lot of times there are more than one spotters at this racetrack too. Dylan.
Well, and Cole Custer just has been released from the infield care center. First of all, do you feel okay? And then just take us through what happened out there from your perspective.
Yeah, I'm fine. I think I haven't seen a replay, but I think I just tried to make a block and he was there. I just didn't realize that. So that's on me. But it was we had a really fast Osmation Mustang. We just couldn't get anybody to work with us. It seemed like whenever I tried to go forward, the guy behind us would just go with the guy I was trying to pass. So it was a little bit frustrating there, but we'll move on to Vegas and try and win one.
Was the racing as fun as it looked like it was?
It was and it wasn't, because you get hung out to dry a lot, but it is pretty hectic, and you'll probably see a lot more trying to throw blocks and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it was pretty racy though.
Well, glad you're okay. Cole Custer, he'll head on to Vegas.
Already looking forward to the next race.
And I applaud. That's what I like to hear out of a young driver. Is very simple. I try to do this. This is what happened. It's on me. Him and his spotter can go back and say, hey, what could I have helped? What could I have done different? That is tough. I mean, his day's over. He came here with high expectations. He was on a career best top 10 streak. 8 races in a row. Comes here, it doesn't finish. So it's more than just what they do on the racetrack. When you talk about young drivers and learning the sport and getting experience, it's how you recover and how you react to issues like that.
And currently 5th in the playoff standings. So Cole Custer looking comfortable heading into the playoffs, but again, one more race before that takes place.
So real quick, we see Chase Elliott, Justin Allgaier on the front row. Let's talk about the guys that decided to pit. Austin Dillon in 12th, Ryan Sieg in 13th, Chase Briscoe. But I think Austin Dillon's the big name. He's that white and yellow car all the way back in like the 6th or 7th row on the outside. So we'll see. He chose to put some fresh tires on, I'm sure for wear. We'll see if he can work his way back up through the areas right behind basically his teammate in the 21 of Daniel Hemrick.
Let's listen into Tyler Reddick's radio.
So I feel like we can make it to the end on tires. The wear definitely should get better with every lap, more rubber we got.
So they're thinking about the tire wear. With 22 laps to go, Chase Elliott, the control car, will be on the inside, and Justin Allgaier on the outside. We'll see what the help comes from Christopher Bell and Matt Tifft, who are in row 2. Right foot slamming down that accelerator, and up through the gears they go. Elliott with the advantage on the inside, so Chase Elliott has a good push from Christopher Bell. He'll have the advantage as he shoots down the short chute into turn 2.
What a shove for Chase Elliott out into the lead. And now is a hornet's nest behind him. Here's Christopher Bell to the inside of Justin Allgaier. Look out, Ryan Preece is around. He'll hook them on. Oh, what a hellacious spin to the inside of turn number 2. Ryan Preece going for a wild ride off the second corner.
And back there we saw him catch, it looks like the tire barriers. Caught it at a bad angle, almost tore the right front of that car completely off. And a big spin for the 18 of Ryan Preece. But thankfully you see him with the window net down and trying to climb out of that car. A very big hit. Let's see what led up to this happening.
Well, they were 2x2 going through turn 1. He's on the outside right there, the 42. That's a little, I can't tell if there was contact, if he just spun out. He spins across the field, luckily missing the 22. Austin Dillon getting on the brakes, and then right here, you mentioned the end of the tire wall. That is a tough impact, spinning the car around.
It was John Hunter Nemechek in the 42 that was right behind him. We don't know if there was contact made or if just The car got loose as he came out of the turn.
Yeah, we really need to see it from all the way back of really the exit of turn 1. These corners, even though they have straightaways, the action kind of connects. So here you go. The 42 is inside the 18. No doubt they go into turn 2. There's a gap between them right here. The 42 looks loose, though. They both look loose. The 42 goes up the racetrack, and around goes the 18. And right here, it's just real estate. He needs more real estate. And that tire is there for a reason. You see the other option was the end of a wall, even with safer barriers. That's tough when you look at facilities that are used for multiple reasons. There's entries and exits with road courses and such. I'm not exactly sure what comes off from turn 2 over here. I don't think he hit him. I just think he started to slide up. I'm sure the 18 either felt the air or knew he was there, and then he started to slide up. I'm not sure if it was an air situation. But if you look, both cars are loose. I mean, right there, the 42 wiggles, but there's no contact. You have to ask yourself, these cars are creating a huge wake. Think of a boat. They're not driving canoes. They're driving like freightliners, big cargo ships. The wakes off these things are unbelievable. That's why the draft works. That's why the race is what you are seeing today with this drafting and the passing. The negative to that is when you get in that bumpy water, man, it can be trouble. And that rough air obviously spun the 18 out.
Ryan Preece in the 18, scheduled to be in the remainder of the races in 2018. Kelly.
Rick, Austin Dillon, who is one of those cars that came to pit road just a couple laps ago, now says he thinks he has a flat right rear tire. They're actually having a discussion right now to find out just how hard he was on the brakes there to see if they can change just that one tire. Tires, they've run out of them, basically. So they're trying to see if they can just, sounds like right now they're making a decision just to give him the one tire change, but they're going to have to come back down to pit road under this caution.
Right there, Rick.
Flat tire.
Looks flat to me. Oh, look.
They gave you credit. And under a red flag condition for this most recent caution, they'll have to fix that tire barrier before we get back underway. So that's the reason why the cars have stopped with 21 laps to go in the Xfinity Series race from here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And you see the cars, the field, parked on the racetrack because of a red flag condition. This coming out after the 18 of Ryan Preece got loose coming out of the turn and slamming into the tire barriers in turn 2. They're coming out of turn 2. There you see the car. They're about to put it on the tow truck and get it back into the garage, but they're going to work on that tire barrier.
Yeah, so when I go back and look at this again, I mean, it's really just the air. If you look at the 42, there's definitely no contact. That quick move to the right just packs that air. Think of that air almost like a liquid, right? It has to go somewhere. And when he moves up that quick, it gets compressed, it gets pushed, and it literally just shoves the 18 around. He gets spun out totally by the air. You know, I'm not sure the 42 meant to do it. He looked like he was half wrecking, kind of coming up the racetrack. And, I mean, the 18, you saw how, like, it took me 3 replays because he spins so fast. It amazes me what air can do. I mean, I obviously know, right? The air is what's holding them on the racetrack, but I've never driven one of these things to think what it feels like when you get spun out, and it is amazing how quickly it spins at 18 out.
Around he goes, a hard hit, so Ryan Preece will make the mandatory trip to the infield care center, where they will check him out. We saw him climb out of the car and get into the ambulance, so he will make that trip.
What a race. 79 laps complete. We've had 9 leaders with 13 lead changes, and that's at the line. I don't know how many lead changes we've had around the 2.5-mile racetrack where they just didn't get back to the start-finish line to get the lead.
Yes, and the end of stage 1, pretty dramatic as it ended 4 wide for the stage 1 win, which was won by John Hunter Nemechek. Hemrick won stage 2. Now it's Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell that will be back up in row 1 as we get ready for the restart. And it's been very exciting, not only the restarts, but the moves going through turn 1 and headed right to you, Bagley.
Yeah, it's been pretty intense, and of course what we just saw from Ryan Preece and John Hunter Nemechek, we expect more of that here to come before we drop the checkers later on this day here in Indianapolis. That is probably one of the more trickier parts of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. When you're back on the hammer and you're trying to dive to the inside and make a move, and you get up alongside somebody like that, you're just along for the ride. And of course Ryan Preece hit wrong place, wrong time. Very intense in turns 1 and 2. We expect more of it. Parker, what about you at the end of the back straightaway?
Well, it's the thing. If they make it through turn 2, what I expect to see is a lot of blocking. I expect to see it get more aggressive. We've seen guys throw blocks all the way down to the grass and then try to clear themselves back up to enter the corner. Well, that's going to start to get taken away. Guys are going to get more aggressive about getting their nose to the inside and getting shoved in the grass. So that will be interesting. And I have to tell you, though, the ambient temperature is dropping. The temperature might be rising on the racetrack, and I've just gone to my 2nd set of hand warmers at this point, Jeff.
I have one, Parker, that I keep swapping from left to right. So you have a better allotment of hand warmers than I do. But what I'm really looking, I don't know if I want to say forward to watch it, but what's going to be interesting to watch is we've seen how much the air affects these race cars. This replay that we just showed you, how it affects the cars. But also, side drafting is going to help slow a car down from making an advance on you. So if a guy tries to make a move, you want to just get your car right next to his to side drafting to slow him down. Well, guess what that does? That pulls the air off of his car, and of course that puts you in risk of him spinning out and taking you with him. So again, with less than 20 to go and they drop this green flag, drivers are going to have decisions to make. How aggressive are they willing to be? What positions are they willing to put themselves in to be able to be in the position to kiss the bricks? Marty.
Well, let's chat with some crew chiefs, and I would love to relive the day for Christopher Bell. That there was a wreck involved in there. There was a tire rub involved in there, pitting out of sequence. So, Jason Ratcliffe, you've kind of survived everything, and here you are in 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked out so far. The GameStop Camry it's improving every time we come down pit road. The guys are doing a good job making adjustments. We started the race way too tight, and we knew the track would change quite a bit. It was pretty green. The tire wear has been high, which is what we expect. But again, every time we come down pit road, that improves. Christopher's doing a nice job. For a guy that's never been here before, he's a quick learner. It was nice of him to give him that first 10 laps to kind of get a feel for it and see where our car was at. But we're sitting in a good spot right now. We'll see where it goes.
You hear the cars coming by us, and he mentions it. 80 laps into this race, Rick, Christopher Bell has exactly 80 laps of experience at this racetrack. Had never run a lap here at Indy before today.
So incredible. 12 drivers entering this race today had not started a race on this racetrack. As we take a look at today's Toyota driver update, and Christopher Bell and the day that he has had, all the way down to 23rd, as high as 2nd, currently running in that position now.
I mean, can you win your first ever start with no practice?
Well, I
mean, that's like a
that would be pretty impressive.
It'd be like the new defensive player for Chicago getting a sack on your first down.
Be careful.
He did last night. It was looking good in the first quarter, then it kind of went away. It was.
Well, Aaron Rodgers came back. Kelly.
Another driver that's having a really solid day out there, Tyler Reddick in that 9 car. David Ellen's calling the shots there. What do you like what you've seen out of Tyler to this point?
Well, he's ran a really smart race. We've stayed out of trouble. We have a good long run car, so hopefully this goes green to the end, and that's kind of our play. And he's done a great job executing our plan so far.
All right, tires has been the discussion leading into this race. What do you anticipate for these final 20 laps?
if it goes green, there's going to be some tire failures, some guys pitting because of it, and I'm hoping ours make it to the end.
Thank you. Rick?
Hoping. You heard the word, I'm hoping ours make it to the end, so that will be a question mark.
I've used hope as a strategy many times. It was never my best strategy, but sometimes it's your only option.
Dylan.
And Ryan Preece has just been released from the infield care center as well. So what did you feel that led to that spin?
I felt like somebody got into my left rear, or the air just completely whipped the back of the car around. We had a really good ream, number 18, Joe Gibbs Toyota. Just, I don't know, man. These restarts are tough for sure. It's not a lot of, here we go. I mean, yeah, the air's just off it at that point. I don't know. It's tough. You're trying to get all you can. Yeah, probably when he got loose is when I felt the air right there. So, tough deal. It's upsetting for sure, but I'll be back the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, not the way he wanted to end it, but had a good showing earlier today. That's Ryan Preece.
So think about that, Rick. Ryan Preece is a wonderful race car driver, and he didn't even know if somebody hit him. So as soon as he saw it, he goes, yep,
air.
Yep, there's the air right there.
So 19 to go for the Xfinity Series and the Lilly Diabetes 250. When we return, the restart. And coming up next, NASCAR America pre-race, then the Brickyard 400 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Parker and Burton, what are we going to see and what can we expect on this next restart?
Well, Rick, what I'll have my eye on is aggressive bump drafting. We saw Justin Allgaier give a huge, hard shot to Chase Elliott earn the race. Those are just going to get more aggressive as we get later in the race here, Jeff.
You're exactly right. That's going to be key to getting into turn one in the lead. But then once you get there, major side draft, try to slow the car down to get yourself in the position you want to be in.
Watch for the hand on the inside of Chase Elliott in the 23. He's going to tap the door when he wants the 7 to go. And there it was. Does the 7 see it? Back up through the gears they go. That shove should give Chase Elliott an advantage, and it does. Now, can Justin Allgaier take advantage of it? The fight is on for second.
Allgaier tries to slide through underneath, trying to take sole possession of that second spot. Christopher Bell will have none of it. Bell around the outside of Allgaier. They're leaning on each other again on turn 2.
Justin Allgaier's in a really tricky position here, falling back, trying to hold off Tyler Reddick. He's now going to get a run on Chase Elliott. Moves to the inside, 3 wide for the lead. Christopher Bell in that white and blue car on the outside will beat Justin Allgaier down into turn 3, Jeff.
They're not done yet. Allgaier's coming back strong. He's got to the door. He's on the inside. Now they're side by side. The 9-car Reddick's going to get a major run on the front straightaway as they're side by side.
And a little bit of side drafting taking place here at Indianapolis just after the restart. It is the 7 of Justin Allgaier. He's got help from Tyler Reddick behind him, pushing him into turn number 1. And then the 20 of Bell had his hands full with Tyler Reddick. As he fell back, Matt tipped in the 2, falls back to 4th.
Here they come now into turn number 2, 3-car breakaway at the point. Matt tipped in the 2, starting to feel Chase Elliott's wrath. Elliott running into 5th position right now, and the 1 car out of line on the inside, that's that orange and black car of Daniel Hemrick trying to get back to the front.
And Chase Elliott's going to have to try and gain some positive momentum here. He's got Ryan Blaney up behind him. Justin Allgaier firmly in the lead ahead of Tyler Reddick. The single files are coming to you.
Right now, it's really smart, I think, for these 4 to just not really race each other. Try to get away from the cars behind them. You know they're going to be racing behind you. See if you can get away from them.
Justin Allgaier leads, but perhaps more importantly, the 22-year-old of Tyler Reddick is his help. Can he fend off the 20 of Christopher Bell?
Christopher Bell comes flying around the outside of Tyler Reddick. He's trying to take the 2nd spot away, and he will in the short chute. Now, here's Bell. He will set his sights on Justin Allgaier in a battle for the lead as you're looking at Tyler Reddick trying to play catch-up, and they're all stacked up nose to tail on the backstretch.
And that's no good for Justin Allgaier as Christopher Bell makes the move to the outside. He had his teammate behind him, but he will now with a little bit of help. But will that positive momentum work for Christopher Bell down on the outside of turn 3? They're side by side heading to turn 4.
Right now, Reddick needs to lay back a little bit. Just fall back. Get a big run on these 2 guys. They're going to be side by side. They're not going to have any momentum. Reddick can use it to his advantage and make it to the line. Instead, he's going to push his teammate.
They stay side by side as they go across the stripe. It's Allgaier and Christopher Bell fighting for the lead. But now, once again, the big shove coming from Tyler Reddick as he gives the 7 a shove. Going into turn number 1, they're side by side now for 3rd.
It is a 7-driver free-for-all for the lead at Indianapolis. Justin Allgaier, the car out front. Tyler Reddick in 2nd. And now side by side for 3rd. Here's Chase Elliott in the blue and white, number 23, to the inside and starting to make some moves.
And all this side-by-side action brings everyone into the party. As you see Ryan Blaney and Daniel Hemrick, they're pushing each other, trying to make momentum across and get ahead of Matt Tipton on the outside. Christopher Bell falling back behind Ryan Blaney, trying to hang on his right rear quarter panel.
And Daniel Hemrick led this race earlier. He now has worked himself back up to the top of this race. Really good work by him, just being methodical and getting himself back in position.
As Parker put it, everyone now has an invitation to the party, but there's only 13 laps to go, and the music's getting a little bit louder as we close in on that checkered flag. Allgaier and Reddick, 1 and 2 out front.
Now they start to settle down. That is until Ryan Blaney decides to change lanes. He'll look down to the inside of Christopher Bell. That's the race for the 4th position. Blaney, a lot of momentum on the inside of the racetrack, will slide across the bow of Christopher Bell, and they're still going after Bell on the backstretch.
And Ryan Blaney struggled with that car all day, but it looks like they've gotten it right when it matters. Look at the move by Daniel Hemrick, getting pushed by Matt Tipton, drives around the outside of Ryan Blaney. That was awesome.
That was using that push to his advantage. You used the push from his teammate, and then he got the draft from the 22 of Blaney and jumped on the outside. Christopher Bell, you see the 20 car. I think his handling's gone away. His car is starting to get away from him, and people are taking advantage of it.
Positioning, Rick, where do you want to be as we see 12 to go? The leader, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. What's the position to win this race in the closing laps? But you know you don't want to be back here. That's why I see this aggressive racing behind the top 5.
You're watching the battle for the 6th position. That's where that light blue car was. Now we shift up to the battle for 2nd. Chase Elliott is on the march. Taking a peek to the inside of Tyler Reddick off 2. He'll back away, and now Allgaier at the front of this pack trying to break the draft.
And Chase Elliott got kind of shoved out of the draft there, lost his momentum on the restart, but he's found it again. He's gained to these front 2 Junior Motorsports cars right on their tail, looking around, trying to find a way that he can just get to that side of the 9.
Keep your eyes on that black and yellow 21 of Daniel Hemrick. I think he's got the best car, but right now, Blaney making a move underneath him. Hemrick did not hold the bottom off third four. Blaney took that spot.
Incredible racing up front. We want to go through the field. Brought to you by Hardee's. We'll start with Marty.
A lot to fight for today, Rick, for Justin Allgaier. He took the championship lead going into the race last week. He told me, I don't plan on giving it up before this regular season ends. 2 races to go. He wants those 15 bonus points, Kelly.
Tyler Reddick had his best finish of the season last week since winning the opener at Daytona. That was a 3rd at Darlington. His crew chief told me, look, that's 1 good race in a row. We need to string a few of these together. If he can finish this thing out, this team could be building some momentum for the playoffs, Dylan.
Chase Elliott running in that 3rd spot. It's his final race of the year for the GMS team. He wants to get him a win. He's been having a lot of fun racing with these guys this year. He's battled a free condition all day, but he's been quiet on the radio. That generally means Chase is pretty happy. He's holding down 3rd right now.
First leg of the day almost done for Ryan Blaney. 250 lap miles here, 400 to come up in the Brickyard. 400. The car getting much better right now. Remember, it was too loose earlier, guys, but it's pretty good right now. Same for Daniel Hemrick right behind him.
Here comes the field into turn 2. Race for 3rd. Ryan Blaney changes lanes. Overhauls Chase Elliott at the entrance to the corner. The inside lane was left open. Here's Daniel Hemrick looking for a moment to the inside. He will back away and follow Elliott to 3.
And you see there on the left of your screen, John Hunter Nemechek actually got into the wall. He had both right side tires down, going on to pit lane. And then we see the battle there for the lead. Justin Allgaier continuing to hold off his teammate, Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, Blaney's worked himself up to 3rd. I thought Daniel Hemrick had the best car, but I may be wrong. Maybe that 22 car, Ryan Blaney, he's got the best car. As soon as I said that Hemrick was the best, Blaney blew by him, and here comes Blaney, going to battle for 3rd.
9 laps to go, and Steve, do you want to be out front? Because we saw the end of stage 1, Justin Allgaier was leading, and he ended up 4th at the end of that stage.
Yeah, and it's 2 teammates, 1 and 2, but you know someone's going to make a move. I agree with you. Tyler Reddick's not going to finish 2nd on purpose. When he pulls out a line, that will stall those front 2. The question is, who will get the run? Will it be the 22? Perhaps the 23 of Chase Elliott, Parker? Where do you want to be on the last lap?
I think it's a question I'm asking myself right now. You know, Justin Allgaier is doing a great job to hold on to that lead, blocking at the right places, but that's not going to be enough if he gets side by side with Tyler Reddick and all those cars behind him getting huge draft coming down the front stretch as we saw at the end of stage 1.
Yeah, I think, too, handling's going to come into play the longer this run goes on. Cars are going to start to handle worse. We've already heard some cars are loose. I think some cars will start losing the front end. And who has the best handling car on the long run? I think that'll be a huge factor in who wins this race.
Justin Allgaier has not come out of the throttle, and he gets another shove now from Tyler Reddick. Reddick could be setting him up because Reddick was there when Allgaier was coming out of turn number 4. Those 2 were fighting for position. Now we're seeing, will one driver set another one up as they get ready for the finish of this race?
Off turn 2, you got the car of Justin Allgaier. Whoa, 1 car into the wall. That's Ryan Truex. He glances off the safer barrier in turn 2 and pulls down to the inside as the leaders head to 3.
Right, he's just slow there. You see he's obviously got a tire issue right front, Steve. I think that's down right now.
That tires, man. Right that tire.
We heard, I don't know if the tire went first or the contact created it. You would think it is a tire at the angle he went up the racetrack, Dylan.
Well, and guys, this is exactly what they didn't want to happen. Talked to Chris Rice, the crew chief, right before this race. Mentioned how it's been a rough 3 weeks for them. They were looking to just rebound and get back in their rhythm here with a good run. Not the way they wanted this to end.
7 to go. Out front, Allgaier, Reddick, Blaney, Chase Elliott, Daniel Hemrick, the top 5.
Justin Allgaier with the bullseye on the back bumper of that Camaro. He's got him lined up at the back door. Tyler Reddick running in that 9 car in 2nd. You got Ryan Blaney, who's now come to life at this race's end. Chase Elliott, Daniel Hemrick, Matt Tiff, they're all knotted up headed to 3.
And I think Tyler Reddick's in the right spot right here, and he knows it. He doesn't want to get by Justin Allgaier. He doesn't want to lead. He's letting him lead, trying to hold off Blaney and keep a little bit of distance to have that run when they get down the last lap.
And Parker, a moment ago, Justin Allgaier came on the radio, said, tell the 9 to lay off the gas a little bit. He's hitting me too hard in the rear bumper on some of these laps. So you've seen the 9 kind of fade back here a little bit, but you guys might be right. He might be in the right spot.
I think it's the handling we talked about. The pushes can be too big. If it forces the 7 to jump out of the gas, they'll lose momentum. But I'm looking at the 22 of Ryan Blaney back there in 3rd. I think he's Mr. Sly, Mr. Patient. I like his positioning.
It's amazing that Marty reported earlier that Ryan said the car is loose and slow. Well, she's come to life right now when it matters the most. He's running in 3rd and analyzing his options right now, trying to overhaul the 2 in front of him.
It's definitely a great comeback for Ryan Blaney, but you know, I have my eye on that 21 car of Daniel Hemrick. Those RCR cars have been great in this package. They won the last race at Michigan under this drafting package, so I think he might be strong here as we come to 5 to go.
Yeah, we discussed how, what's the right move? Does Tyler Reddick make it if he can get the lead? I think he has to, because Ryan Blaney's not going to play. Ryan Blaney's not going to say, hey, Tyler, wait to the last corner to make your move. Then he can't win the race. So I think if you're Tyler Reddick, you just got to take it when it's available.
2 cars up front are from the same organization, Junior Motorsports. They run 1 and 2, Allgaier and Reddick in the 7 and the 9. Then Blaney, Elliott, and Hemrick all fighting for 3rd through 5th.
Ryan Blaney minding his P's and Q's, riding in the 3rd position right now. Leaders are off turn 2 and onto the back straightaway. Justin Allgaier is going to leg it out by about 3 car lengths.
And that is the kind of distance you do not want to have if you're Justin Allgaier coming down the last few laps. That's the kind of distance that's going to allow Reddick or Blaney here makes a little bit peek to the outside to get a huge run coming down the backstretch. And I'll keep my eye on that. If they sort of fall back into turn 1 and try to get that huge run, Jeff.
And also, Parker, when they go to block, you saw right there Tyler Reddick, when he went to block, he ran very low into the corner. Well, that's going to allow Ryan Blaney to stay out high and approach the corner correctly to try to get a big run to get up straight away.
Somewhere Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kelly Earnhardt are pacing, wearing the carpet out, cars 1 and 2. And how about the captain, Roger Penske, owns the 3rd car at a track he's won 17 Indy 500s. Could this be the day that he wins a NASCAR race number 499 if they could do it?
And Ford has never won here. The next win for Ford would be its 250th Xfinity Series win. So they have an opportunity with the 22 of Ryan Blaney.
And having driven for Roger Penske, I can tell you this racetrack means the world to him. All the wins in the Indy 500. If you're able to win here for Penske, you become immortalized in the size of that race team.
They're coming to 3 to go. It's go time. I see Tyler Reddick starting to lay back just a little bit. Can he lay back just the right amount to get a major run on Allgaier? Then Allgaier's going to block. And then what is Blaney going to do? That's what's going to happen here. There's going to be a big run by Allgaier at some point. And then what happens behind him will be complete chaos.
And remember how aggressive they're racing now with 3 laps to go. The tires have been a question mark. Will they last that long? And with this aggressive racing, that's wearing them out even more.
Allgaier, Reddick, and Blaney, 1, 2, and 3. The key players in this battle for the win. Or can Chase Elliott, that blue number 23, come to life and steal all the glory and bring Hemrick along for the ride as well?
And they're all just assessing each other, assessing the runs, assessing the draft. You see Blaney fall back a little bit. I've been wondering if he might try to get momentum from Chase Elliott, if he can get him to his back bumper and try to use that as a run on the 9 and the 7.
And that's what Reddick's got to be doing. He's got to be watching his rear as well as out the windshield. Right now, Blaney's got a big run. He's going to give a big push to Reddick. What's going to happen in turn 1?
5 and 6 cars running nose to tail here once again. Tyler Reddick right on the back bumper of Justin Allgaier. Allgaier diving into turn 1 again.
Nobody making a move in positions 1, 2, and 3. Follow the leader formation into the entrance of turn 2. Allgaier, though, gets away by 3 car lengths. Reddick now falling back just a tad, and Blaney's hot to trot in 3rd.
When are they going to make the move? The anticipation is killing me right now. So you see the 9 get another run on his teammate there. Justin Allgaier chooses to stay behind him. It looks like he's going to maybe wait for the last lap.
One thing I find interesting is you see that run that Tyler Reddick gets up to the 7 of Allgaier. Well, Blaney does not get that same run to the 9. That's very interesting to me. Right now, he's right on the rear bumper, but watch what happens. Watch as Reddick gets that run. Blaney does not and is not able to stay with the 9 on the straights.
99 laps in the books, 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank. Can Allgaier hold him off one more time?
Into turn one, final time here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Justin Allgaier scampers away by 2 car lengths. Here's Tyler Reddick. He is poised, he's in position, and he is ready to pounce. The question is, has he fallen back too much? They're on the back stretch for the final time.
I don't know if he has the help right now. He's definitely going to get the run, but it might just be too little, too late for Tyler Reddick. He gains on Justin Allgaier down into turn 3, makes a move to the inside. He's not able to get there. Coming to you, Jeff.
Yeah, just not enough help from Lane from behind for Reddick to get that run. I think if Allgaier has a good, clean corner here, it's going to be very hard for the 9 and Reddick to get there by the start-finish line. It's just not enough racetrack left.
2 car lengths separate the top 2. Justin Allgaier looking for his very first win at the Brickyard. Allgaier will win in Indy.
Heck yeah, boys! We just won in Indianapolis. How cool is that? Heck yeah! You guys are awesome.
Great job, Boogie. Great job, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, spotters. Thank you, pit crew. Thank you, crew. I know it's tough this week being.
Allgaier is having a career year, and what a great way to put an exclamation point on it as the regular season is winding down, then win at one of the most famous racetracks in the world.
I don't know if y'all know that or not, but
every racer in any form of racing knows that Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the mecca of racing. They've been racing here since 1909. And now Justin Allgaier has just added his name to the list of winners, and he will have the opportunity to kiss the bricks.
There's Justin's wife, and think about the fashion, closing laps, having the lead, protecting run after run after run, ice water through his veins. You mentioned it, a career year. It seems like him, his crew chief Jason Burdett, they can do no wrong. All the decisions work, great equipment, great pit stops. Now look at this, down a lap here. Think about that. After winning, riding around IMS, hand out the window, waving to the crowd.
He's going to soak this win up. That burnout happening in turn 1. And continuing down the front stretch as he'll come back to the start-finish line, which is so famous here. It was a long wait. This race was supposed to happen on Saturday. The rains that came didn't allow the cars onto the racetrack on Friday, on Saturday, or Sunday. The big question mark was, how would you handle at a racetrack where you've got no track time at all? And one of the first comments on the radio that Justin Allgaier gave back to his crew chief was, this thing's perfect. The steering wheel comes off, and Justin Allgaier is about ready to climb out of his race car. And the fans that have stuck around on this Monday, now afternoon of racing, will let them know what they thought of that racing. It was incredible. Marty.
What a smoke show he put on. Justin Allgaier grew up in Illinois. You knew that he wanted to win here in the Midwest at the Brickyard. He said there's no cooler place to win than Indianapolis on the radio to his team afterwards. And I got to ask you the significance of this one for you, growing up watching all the Indy 500s that you did as a young man.
Yeah, you know, this is, you fans are awesome first and foremost for sticking it out with us. I know this weekend didn't go as planned, but you know, I used to come here all the time. I sat in the grandstands, watched Indy 500. I sat for the first however many Brickyard 400s right up there in turn 1. That's why I wanted to do a burnout down there. This one is for my dad because at the Brickyard crossing up there, he drove me up here every Wednesday night during the winter so that I could take classes to be the best I could be as not only a good driver inside the car but outside the car. And it was about 3.5 hours, and he drove me here every Wednesday night, so hats off to him. Just everybody in this car. Our Dove Min plus Camaro was awesome. To win at the Brickyard means so much, and to put a Camaro in victory lane here, to see these bricks, this is special.
You mentioned your dad, Mike. We saw a shot of your wife, Ashley, a moment ago. How much of this is about family, Justin, being here at Indy?
This is all about family. You know, my wife Ashley, my daughter Harper, what they do for me in this sport, this team. You know, all these guys standing right back here, they don't get enough credit. You know, we are a traveling family together, and that's what this is all about, man. This is cool.
You can tell the emotion, Rick. You can tell the tears. This one means so much to Justin Allgaier. And look who's here to greet him. His team, high fives all around.
His dad's called Gator. And Justin, they call Little Gator. But as you heard him, there's the hug, the embrace. That's his father. So much appreciation for what his parents have given him, the opportunity to come to this racetrack, to come to these hallowed grounds where the greatest race car drivers ever have been able to win and visit victory lane here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And now Justin Allgaier has that same feeling. He's been able to conquer the Brickyard. Justin Allgaier, it's his win.
Yeah. I'm such a goober, I know that. Oh, there she is.
Well, of course, the beauty of this day is the fact that you've got yet another race coming up here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've got 60 laps coming up here for Brickyard 400. There's a celebration now continues down the yard. Gets in the back. Justin Allgaier and family and crew. Ryan Blaney is the one who started on pole. Team home third. Katie Harper cut up Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney overcoming not one, but two pit violations to finish third today. Ryan, it seems like you have a car to win today.
And Justin Allgaier once again climbs back in behind the wheel, now back on of the number 7. He'll make his way to victory lane, but moments ago, the family and crew able to kiss the bricks. And part of that out there is crew chief Jason Burdett. And Jason was actually a part of the way that tradition started.
Yeah, he was on Dale Jarrett's team as the tire guy back in 1996. I've known Jason for years. So did he ever dream 22 years later he would be here kissing the bricks as a crew chief? I don't know, but the year that Justin Allgaier and Jason Burdett are having, there's probably no doubt in anyone's mind, definitely no surprise that this is the car going into victory lane.
And the momentum. Again, one more race in the regular season before the playoffs start, but this momentum has to be huge for this team. We mentioned a career year already for Justin Allgaier. The owner of the team, Dale Earnhardt Jr., has already said he thinks Justin Allgaier is deserving of a cup ride. Kelly.
Well, and perhaps that's the ultimate goal, to get back into that cup ride. Hey, I got to ask you about that moment just a second ago. Kissing the bricks, what was that like?
It was amazing. You know, this place is truly incredible. Hats off to these guys, everybody at Junior Motorsports. This team is absolutely incredible. I can't thank everybody back at the chassis shop and the engine shop, Hendrick Engine Shop. All of our partners. To have Dove Man plus Care on the car this week was really cool to get them to victory lane. Chevrolet, Brandt, Hellman, Suaveman, Breyers Ice Cream, Degree, Axe, Cessna, Exalta, Northeastern Supply, all the partners that make these race cars work every week. Hats off to Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick. Both were the difference maker today in giving me the shelves that I needed, especially there at the end. And just everything about today was perfect, man. It's you know, I know it's been a long weekend, and I know that this weekend hasn't gone to plan for Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but the track crew here has done a fantastic job. The fans that stuck around, are insane. They're awesome. Xfinity, all they do for this sport. Just, man, what a cool day. And to be able to kiss the bricks with my wife and my daughter, that's special.
5 race wins now for you on the season. It's just been a career year. What is it like to be a part of a group that's like this, just firing on all cylinders?
It's all these guys right here. Every single one of them. You know, the heart and soul that they put into these race teams. All 4 of us at Junior Motorsports. You know, it's such an honor to drive great equipment, and these guys provide it week in and week out with no practice, and we fired right off and had a car that we thought was capable of winning right off the truck. So that's just special. That's just having a great group of guys that get along really well together and work their guts out, and they've done a great job.
All right, congratulations. And Rick, with that, he extends his regular season points lead, 49 points now over Cole Custer.
And that's big, because at the end of the regular season, they will receive 15 playoff points for winning the regular season, 10 for finishing second. So Justin Allgaier already now with 24 playoff points with this win, ahead of Christopher Bell, looking like he might be the #1 seed when the playoffs begin in a couple weeks.
Well, on the Sunday races, we have the big 3. I believe on the Saturday races, it looks to me like the big 2. Justin Allgaier, Christopher Bell are standing toe-to-toe, trading blows, and definitely, this is back-to-back for the 17. Back-to-back wins. I mean, think about that. Junior Motorsports going back-to-back. The 7 of Justin Allgaier has won a career number of year this year. It's he has to be the favorite, I would say, heading into the playoffs. Kelly?
And look at the boss man here, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's got to get back to his other job, working our broadcast in a moment. But we were talking about Jason Burdett. You are here for the inaugural kissing of the bricks with Dale Jarrett. What's it like, I guess, 22 years later now as a crew chief to be doing it again?
Yeah, that was an incredible day in itself, you know, with Dale and Todd Parrott. Those guys are, I mean, they taught me everything I knew. I think I was 17 maybe when I started working with those guys. So this is incredible. This place is unbelievable. You can feel how special it is just driving in. So it was an unbelievable day.
And how about the way that this team seems to be kind of peaking and building momentum? Now just 1 race left ahead of the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we've had really fast cars the last couple months. You know, we've had some good fortune on the road courses that led to good finishes and a couple wins. But, you know, here last year we were so good, and our teammates were all good. You know, obviously HMS builds an incredible engine package for the restrictor plates. But yeah, I mean, we got momentum right now going to Vegas and then moving on into Richmond in the playoffs. So, you know, I don't know. I don't even know what to say right now. It's incredible.
Yeah, congratulations. Enjoy it, Jason.
Thank you.
And just moments ago, Dylan Welch caught up with Tyler Reddick.
Well, it came close. Second place for Tyler Reddick. Heard you say on the radio you felt like you didn't do what you needed to do there at the end to get a run on Justin. What did you feel like you needed to do differently?
Well, it kind of came together, and the right run I needed came with 2 to go, and I was just unsure about taking it that early still. I didn't want to cost me or Justin a first or second place finish. I wanted it to be off of turn 4, preferably on the backstretch on the last lap. That way it could be just between me and him, and one of the Junior Motorsports cars would go to victory lane. But fortunately, our Nationwide Children's Chevy did not get the run I needed on that last lap. I really should have took it with 2 to go, but I was just unsure. I didn't want to mess up either one of our days. I wanted to walk out of here either first or second, and unfortunately we left second. But hats off to Justin and those guys. They've been really clicking it off this year, and I'm just really happy and proud of my team. The last 2 weeks we've had really good finishes, and everything's starting to come together like it's needed to be all year long. So things are looking up, and things are coming together at the right time for us.
Yeah, how good does that feel? It's been a rough summer for you guys, but like you said, you've clicked off 2 top 3s here in a row.
Yeah, it feels really good. It feels like we're right where we need to be, and this is the potential of the team, and we've let it slip in areas where we could have had some really good top 5 finishes and even potential wins. So to walk away here second stings, but you know, it's the right thing we need to do. You got to take those second place finishes in the playoffs. As much as you want to win the race, you can't throw away a race on the last lap and finish 30th. So we just got to be smart, and this is what the last 2 weeks and hopefully next week at Las Vegas will be all about for us.
Third at Darlington last week, second today. He'll try and go after a win at Vegas next week.
He won at Daytona. He finishes second here as we see Dale Earnhardt Jr. congratulating his driver as Justin Allgaier is going to celebrate this one. NASCAR America, it's time to get the pre-race started. We go to Krista and Nate.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.